All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Thursday night in Tooney Town, and that can only mean one thing. It is time for Tooney Talk TV. Folks, my name is Marvin, and I'm the Movie Monster, and one day I will get that intro correct on the first try. I promise you, one day it will happen. It is my ultimate goal. It is my goal in life, and one day I will be able to say I have accomplished all I've been set out to do in this world. But we've got a great show for you guys today. All of us, you'll have to excuse us if we're all a little numb today. We all watched the first two episodes of Agatha All Along, and I think we're all feeling like we've gone down the road, down the witch's road. It's terrible. It's so bad. It's so bad. And we're going to talk about it tonight. But before we can do that, I've got to get my panel on here. And of course, as always, folks, my best friend, my co-host with the most. He's even got his own video intro. And there he is, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kevin Apollo. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm good, brother. I spent the day watching Matt Smith and Capaldi shorts on YouTube just to kind of try to just blunt the damage that was done.
To try to counteract all of the estrogen that was flowing around. Yeah, the magical estrogen.
And then I went on Twitter and saw what they did to Dragon Age and felt like Vito Corleone standing over Sonny's body.
Oh. Look how they massacred my boy. Oh man, yeah, no, we're gonna talk about that too later, but we're gonna talk about a lot of stuff before we get to that. We don't like to talk about a lot of video game stuff on here because we kind of save it for that game place, but there's gonna be some video game talk tonight because there's just some things going on that are just absolutely insane. Hello to everybody out in the chat, by the way. I see you all guys there. I see Lisa, I see John JID. Hopefully we could turn that chat green with some new members tonight. So we have a couple already, which I'll shout out in a minute. But get those super chats in, guys. Let us know you're there. Let us know what you want to talk about. Sound off if you watched Agatha All Along. Let us know. We'll read your comments, your questions aloud. But we have to complete our coven here today, and we can only do that with our good friend, the one and only Trish, the Dish.
Hi, everybody. That's me, Trish the Dish. I like Coven. I like it.
We're not going to
email vibes.
The only time we're ever going to call it that. We're going to coven up. Did you? When they said that, they're like, "Yeah, we got to get everyone to coven up." I'm like, "Oh, please, let's not use coven as a verb. Can we not?"
I've never used it as a verb, but I have joked with my girlfriends like, oh, "We're going to roll in like a coven," but. I mean, you know, I wouldn't write it in a show. That's just me being an idiot with my friends.
Right. But also joining us, folks, a regular here on the Tooney Town channels. We love him very, very much. He's the one, the only, the king of lost media, the king of obscure video game knowledge, the one and only Nolan Thunder.
Nolan. Hello, everyone. I like being called a king. It makes me think like I'm like Burger King.
Yes.
Burger King is your go-to king.
That's your. I love
Yes.
that is your go-to
Iconic.
king. There are actual kings in this world. There are kings all throughout fantasy and adventure. But for you, Nolan, it's the Whopper. You're the king of the Whopper. The Whopper is the king of the burgers, and you're the king of the Whopper. So, oh my goodness. Now, Nolan, you have not watched Agatha All Along, so I guess you're just gonna have to be the reactionary to sit back and listen. I feel so jealous of you because you did not have to sit through that.
Do I need to get popcorn and just watch everybody's reactions? Is it more entertaining than the actual show?
I would it would have to be, because like my last root canal was more entertaining than this show. It was just a whole lot of nonsense, my friend. It was a whole lot of nonsense. It was definitely not
what the
Marvel.
doctor. You know what the doctor, where they have like that chart, especially like the younger you are, where it has like the happy faces. You know, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how much pain are you in? I want them to change that with like Disney Plus shows. So you have like the Acolyte, like a 10, Agatha, maybe like a 9, and going down.
Before we get started, though, I do want to welcome Jared Armstrong, who just became a Tooney Town TV member on the Tooney Town resident level. Same with Liquid Fox, also became a resident on the also became a Tooney Town resident. And and Hamstaz became a Tooney Town tenant. So thank you guys. What,
hamsters? Like Bostonians, like hamsters?
Oh, maybe it is
Right.
hamsters.
I
Maybe
hope
it
I'm
is
right. I
hamsters.
want it to be that.
Yeah. Hamster dance. I guess that is what it must be. I was just trying to read something like more grandiose into it. But welcome, guys. We appreciate you. We are excited to turn the chat green, as it will. Tomorrow at 2 p.m., we've got a live stream for Tooney Town residents and above. So come check it out, guys, and you guys can become more of a part of that panel as well. John JD999 checking in for $199. Just like AEW, I watch Disney trash through y'all now, and that is, I think that is the service that we provide. We watch it so you don't have to, right? Like that's the thing that we always say. Never was that more true than Rings of Power, but I still can't get through Rings of Power. Every time I try to sit down and watch it, I'm like, I can think of something else I need to be doing right now. Like,
are you still stuck in the same spot?
Yeah, I'm still on episode 3. I have not gotten past it. Well, to be fair, I haven't tried again. Every time I sit down and I like open up I take the remote and I'm like, all right, let's go to Amazon Prime. You know, I do have some shirts that need ironing. Like it'll just be anything I can think of. They're like, oh, you know, there's some boxes I have to break down and take to the dumpster. But yeah, I guess we have to I can't really beat around the bush any longer. We got to dive into Agatha All Along. This is a sequel television show to WandaVision, which, by the way, I'm just going to say it. I liked WandaVision.
I liked it too.
I thought it was clever. I liked the concept behind it. I felt like they were saying something new and clever until the end, when it just kind of degenerated into just normal Marvel stuff. And then instead of Wanda being held up as being held up as kind of like the villain that she was in this entire thing, we're instead treated like they'll never know what you said.
It might have been the one Marvel show that was actually justifiable to exist, because it's mocking and it's satire of, like, you know, the old TV shows and all that. So it benefits from being a TV show, where a lot of the other stuff they've been putting out has been a lot more like, okay, this could have been like a 1-hour special. It feels like a diet movie. Like this actually was justified and clever and pretty original, honestly. So I'll give WandaVision a pass.
I liked it. Like, legitimately, I enjoyed it each week.
Yeah, I looked forward to it each week. I liked seeing what they did as a fan of old sitcoms throughout the years. Like, you know, obviously, I was a Nick at Night person.
Nice.
So, you know, I very much enjoyed Nick at Night, so I enjoyed WandaVision. We just had a new super chat come in. KHCDYM93 for $4.99. What are your thoughts on the current state of Dragon Ball Super, and thoughts on if they'll ever finish the show? That is an interesting question. We can divert away from Agatha for this. We'll talk more about Agatha in a second, but I do want to address the super chat as they come in, because I love making you guys a part of the show. So if you want to be a part of the show, send us a super chat. We'll get you on screen. We'll answer your questions. We'll read your comments. You know, even if you just want to say hello. Dragon Ball Super, I'm so excited about it. So have you been reading the manga, Kev?
No, I tapped out after Black Frieza, but I've actually been following a lot of the news on this, so we can actually have a pretty in-depth conversation on some of the stuff that's been going on since we lost Sensei Toriyama.
Has it
For people who don't follow Dragon Ball Super?
Hold on. Has it gone very far beyond Black Frieza?
They took a big break. And then they adapted Superhero.
Okay.
So they adapted Superhero. Goku and Gohan had a big fight. It was essentially, it's like the Superhero ends and Goku instant transmission. It's like, I felt the giant power source. Let's throw down.
Yeah.
The
who was that? It was my son. Oh, let's time to punch you in the mouth.
And then and it's kind of fitting because the final panel is the last thing that Toriyama drew, which was all the characters flying away and Piccolo waving goodbye.
Oh, why is he waving goodbye? Where did Piccolo go?
Well, though, like he's waving goodbye. I think it's probably Pan. I don't remember.
Okay.
But it's essentially like they talk, they fight. Goku's like, okay, cool. I'm cool with leaving you guys on Earth. It's protected. And then I think Piccolo goes to follow them to go train, and like they wave goodbye to the audience. It's like Piccolo's breaking the fourth wall.
Right. I think they will eventually continue the show. I think that there's too much between Moro and the Granola arc and Black Frieza. I think they've got to. There's too much money on the table. Once they're done with Daima, I think that's when they're gonna. I wish Spencer were here for that. We can bring this up again when Spencer's here. Nolan, what was your question before?
Oh no, my question was just going to be for more so the audience who doesn't know. Like, is Dragon Ball Super, is that like a sequel series to DBZ without having to go too deep? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, so it goes Dragon Ball, then Dragon Ball Z, and then there was Dragon Ball GT, but apparently that's no longer canon. We don't talk about Dragon Ball GT. And then Dragon Ball Super continues on from Z, so it kind of pretends that GT never happened.
There was a big fight over the rights after Toriyama passed, which kind of gummed things up a little bit for the series to continue, and it looks like they're kind of close to working it out. But I guess there is a plan. It's allegedly supposed to be debuting on Netflix, not Cartoon Network.
That's interesting. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, I'm going to bring this back up when Spencer's here. Hopefully, if he gets here a little bit later. So, because Spencer is a huge Dragon Ball guy, and we'll be able
is he lurking in the chat?
No, he's not lurking in the chat right now. I'm sure he will before he gets in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said he's going to be able to come a little bit later. Martin, I think, is going to be here in probably 15 or so minutes. Lauren is trying to come a little bit later on. So the usuals should be here tonight. We should have the regular team in place. We have decided, though, that if we were the Teen Titans, I'm Robin, Kevin's Cyborg, obviously. Trish is Raven, and Nolan is Beast Boy, and Spencer is Starfire, and Spencer is 100% on board with the fact that he's Starfire.
I think Spencer's hot enough to be Starfire. I agree with that.
No,
I was like, you have to be the anime girl. All right, so Agatha. So the first episode of Agatha All Along starts off like a procedural cop drama, and it does not do a good job of that. I mean, look, do you think it was trying to be a bad procedural cop drama on purpose, or do you think they're just hacks?
Yeah.
Because I think we were supposed to pick up that something was off about where she was,
Like when she shows up and she just starts exposition dumping. When she shows up and she's just like, well, I was sitting at my desk playing Candy Crush because, the chief suspended me, but then came to me and said, we've got a case that only you can solve. And like telling this to the other detective who would also know the story. That was a bit much. But then
sorry, go ahead.
Then they go down into the into like the little area where the dead body is, and we see the body laying there. We all know who the body is. It's very, very obvious who the body is, especially when they talk about the fact that the body is crushed and all that other stuff. We know that it's Wanda. We know that she's Agatha Harkness. We know this is a spell. We know this isn't real. They draw this out for over 30 minutes. And there's they try to build tension in these scenes. And I'm like, there is no tension because we already know what's going on. We the audience know more than the characters in the show. And that is never a good place to be. Am I wrong?
I will give them this. they did a good job of nailing the tone of what they were emulating. So, like, obviously they were poking fun at specifically the Netflix HBO adaptation of something on BritBox.
That intro is definitely True Detective.
Yeah, so so they nailed the tone. I don't mind. Yes, it was a little ham-fisted, but I get it. Where it's supposed to be jarring. But this show so far, my biggest gripe is this show makes the same mistake that all Marvel shows, like even the good ones.
Mm-hmm.
They are
what were the good ones?
Well, WandaVision.
The Netflix ones.
Besides WandaVision.
Yeah, the Netflix shows.
Oh, the Netflix shows. Okay.
They are entirely too long, and they move entirely too slow. I think maybe only the Punisher avoided this problem, but it just like you said, we know what happened, we know where this is going. There wasn't really enough Aubrey Plaza. Like, she popped up and kind of was like, "I'm here to kind of let you know what's going on," and then here we are.
She'll be in it more, I'm sure. Like, she's gonna be one of the main characters. Obviously, she's supposed to be the Green Witch in the Coven. But can we say who did pop up very quickly after the body was found? Anya Jenkins from Buffy the Vampire Slayer was making an appearance, and I was very happy to see her back again.
It was like, Anya.
Yep. I mean, she popped up in Once Upon a Time. Also, she was the blind witch in the Hansel and Gretel story. But man, oh man, do I love Anya. She was what a great character. What a great character with one of the greatest depths in the history of television. Spoilers. So she goes to see Anya. She sees the chief of police. These are all people from WandaVision. Aubrey Plaza shows up. She's the stereotypical Fed that shows up to take over the investigation. So they got the bit of a headbutt there. Aubrey Plaza shows up at a fake house in her fake life with fake pizza and fake beer to have a fake conversation with her. We know that it's all fake. And then all of a sudden, the fire alarms in the house go off because this boy has entered the room. And, he goes to run away. Now, we were doing pros Agatha after party last night, and I got a text from Jonas, and he said for the second episode, he goes, 6 or so minutes in, we got confirmation this character's gay. He gets a call from his boyfriend, and I said, I got confirmation this character was gay when I saw him run in the first episode.
I don't think we needed the boyfriend for confirmation.
No, there was no confirmation needed here.
I don't need to touch the sun to know the sun's hot.
Yeah. Yep. So she chases him down. All of this could have happened in 5 minutes, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
All of this, all of the Agnes stuff leading into Agatha could have all happened in the first 5 minutes, and then could have gotten on with the story of this, but it didn't. So the kid is arrested, and by the way, he's totally not Billy Maximoff. Totally not Wiccan, right? He's 100% Billy Maximoff. He's 100% Wiccan. That is a character, for those of you that don't know, from the Young Avengers, but he was in WandaVision. He's one of Wanda's 2 kids in WandaVision. And
created by the legendary John Byrne in Avengers West Coast. Don't sully Billy's proper heritage with that dirty Young Avengers nonsense.
I'm just saying where he came from. Created by John Byrne. Now the character is gay, but they turned him into Mario Cantone. They made him
Steam Pipe Alley.
Yeah, they made him just Jack.
The granola bars, the expired granola bars are all I had. I was like, oh, come on.
I know he was so over the top gay,
and it's a shame because I think there's aspects to him that could be kind of endearing if they just tone stuff down with him. Like, I didn't dislike him. I disliked the presentation.
I disliked everything you said. Yeah.
No, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
how
they're presenting it.
I'm kind of like, I'm stuck on this show. I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it.
That's how I feel.
I liked some of the ideas there. I liked some of what they're trying to do, but the presentation is off, and it's pulling the show down. That, and we can do 90% of the storytelling in 25 minutes or less.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to I lost my complete train of thought. I would like to not watch the show anymore is I guess where I was trying to go with it. But so she goes to the morgue to see the body. And we get the big reveal that it's Wanda because the name appears. And we're like, we know. And then they did the big reveal that she's Agatha Harkness. And I'm like, we know. Can we get on with it?
Well, it's weird because the show is like this odd combination of them assuming you know everything, but then explaining stuff like you don't know anything.
I see. I was also under the impression that Catherine Hahn is a good actress, because she is not showing it in this show. My goodness, when she's doing the interrogation scene with Totally Not Wiccan, it's terrible.
I think that was supposed to be terrible.
Yeah, so you got to remember that that's also on purpose.
Oh,
it's on purpose.
She doesn't get any better when she's out of the spell.
I felt once she slid back into being Agatha, she was okay. Again, it's just
forgiving than
she's only as good as her material, I think.
Yeah, more forgiving than I am.
I think
this is.
I liked her in Crossing Jordan all those years ago. That was the first place I saw her, and I liked her in that.
She's great in Step Brothers.
That's right, I forgot she was in that. She was great in that movie.
Put your little ball.
Oh my goodness.
Speaking of Jade eggs, anyone?
So we got to the morgue scene. She goes through all of her hex personas, all of the different, and then we get the scene where she storms out of her house naked as a jailbird and approaches her neighbor, makes him uncomfortable, but he did have to take that minute to talk about how powerful she sounded. You seem more lucid and powerful. And I'm just like, yes, she's stunning and brave and naked. We get it. We have to look at the rear end of whatever body double they put in there to be her butt. And of course, a teenage girl has to see her naked because this is a Disney production.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to have that little joke.
And this is what annoyed me is, so she gets outside, right, and we're treating Westfield like they've all
Westview,
whatever. the lame town there. Everybody should be exceptionally angry.
I know.
Everybody's just kind of like, meh, it happened. It was weird. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We're over it. Not like they weren't held hostage for over a year, separated from their kids, trapped in a dome.
Oh, I know.
I think
it's like denial to cope. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I don't know. That's just how it struck me. But
so, like, they could have used this time to kind of they could have told you more about what's really been going on with her, because how the neighbor described her to me was more interesting than what we got. Like, clearly she's been going through probably thematic episodes, and she's been a babbling mess, and the town was taking care of her, even though she was just as much to blame for everything as Wanda. And you think that should be irritated.
Didn't they see her flying around, like shooting Wanda with like blasts and stuff like that in the sky? I don't understand why everybody's not afraid of her.
But they all know what Wanda did to her too. Like, they all knew that she was left a vegetable. So it was a blown opportunity that I think would have kind of improved upon the story they were trying to tell, because like Agatha's pretty unsympathetic, and you should have a tiny bit of sympathy for her, but it was more important to jump into saying you're stunning, brave, and more powerful than ever.
This show is you got morally gray characters trying to justify their moral grayness, very little in terms of character development, ham-fisted exposition, and it's about singing lesbian witches. It's the Acolyte all along. This is just the Acolyte. This is somebody at Disney was like, no, guys, I know, but we went wrong with the Acolyte. I figured out the singing lesbian witch formula. We've got it this time.
Listen, Patty Lupone was booked for the Acolyte, but we can get her for Agatha. So if we just do another group of women who can sing with her.
Oh, I've never been so upset to see Patty LuPone, but we'll get to that. Oh, did you notice that when she gets her memory back and she tries to like use magic, she does the thread thing from the Acolyte? Like she literally like pulls up her hand like she's pulling the thread.
Oh, yeah.
She did that, and I was like, "Uh-oh, here we go."
Easter egg.
Yeah, the only thing that I like, I'm just glancing at the chat real quick. I just see somebody pointed out exactly what I think. Aubrey, hold on. Jasmine Maxwell says Aubrey Plaza might be the only reason I'll watch this, and I am 100% in agreement.
I agree. Aubrey Plaza pops up on screen and just oozes. You're going to trade in probably 3 months of excitement for a lifetime of misery.
She's entirely too good of an actress to be in this show. Also, she's too funny to be in this show. She's too funny to have the terrible Marvel comedy. I'm so done with terrible Marvel comedy.
I don't feel like her comedy style and her comedic timing fits with Marvel's. Like I don't feel like they're using her to her strength in that regard. You know,
probably not. Well, we also haven't seen very much of her in this show. She popped in, so she pops in. She comes in. We it's very clear that she has magic. They do this whole thing. We know they don't like each other. She holds the knife to her. She cuts her a little bit, and she says and then licks her hand. Ugh. And everything they said to each other was some kind of
coded.
It was coded innuendo. Every single word that they said to each other. It was insane
from minute one.
And then of course, she goes down and licks the bloody gash. I mean her hand. The gash in her hand, guys. Don't demonetize me. Get your heads out of the gutter. Her hand was cut. Her palm was cut. It's all right.
26 minutes in, huh?
Yeah.
It healed it, right? I'm not crazy.
Like, it did. Okay. There was a reason for licking. There was a reason for licking it, but then she tells her the Salem 7 are coming for her, which sounds like.
It sounds stupid, but I thought they were kind of creepy looking. I'm not gonna lie.
They were creepy looking, but I mean, I don't know, man. Like
I was pleasantly surprised by the creepy factor from them. I thought they were gonna look a little lame. Not that they were amazing, but you know.
So after Aubrey Plaza leaves, she realizes that she left totally not Wiccan in the closet, which is a place where I'm assuming he has not been in quite some time. But
there is no closet large enough to hold that boy.
Oh no, there is not.
That young man is a 15-mile pride parade.
So now here's the thing. We understand now that she's like, I can tell the people that want to kill. So Aubrey Plaza, April Ludgate cannot kill Agatha Harkness. Agatha Harkness cannot kill April Ludgate. So one of them has to, like they're kind of at a stalemate. So she's like, but I can tell the people that want to kill you where you are. And to that, she's just kind of like, so now I'm like, okay, so she's going to go tell this Salem 7, Agatha Harkness is in Westview at this address. So maybe the best thing to do would be to not be at that address. And once they get their Coven in the next episode, where do they go?
The only thing I'm wondering about is that door in her floor. Like, do they have to be there because it was specifically like marked? I don't remember if it was marked.
No, I think all they have to do is, because he asked how to get to the Witch's Road. She says, you don't get there, you conjure it. And I'm assuming that means they could have conjured the Witch's Road anywhere. And they chose the one place that the bad guys know that they are.
But I also think that as they knew where she was going to be wherever she went anyway. Between the Raven and the Coyote, she was pretty much, they pretty much had tabs on her. So
the Raven, Coyote, and the rat. I don't know.
I was going to say, I think it was like a mouse or something.
Oh, there was a rat too, yeah.
It was a rat. Apparently, that's what their name is too, because in the credits for the second episode, they were credited as like Coyote, Rat, Crow. Oh. I'm wondering which other animals there were going to be in the Salem 7.
Poor crows, man. Having a tough go of it lately.
A platypus? Salem 7, the platypus! What's up the hood?
Can there be 3 crows and one of them's in a straw hat?
I be done seeing about everything when I see an elephant fly.
They have to teach Wiccan how to fly.
Yeah. Oh.
Kevin.
Oh my goodness. So that was episode 1.
I can't even pretend I didn't think it was funny though.
We gotta lighten them loafers, boy. Come on.
No. Oh no. And then we get into episode 2. But before that, I'm going to go through the few super chats that have come in. Alejandro Melendez for $1.99. Recommend Terminator Zero. Best entry since T2. I got to watch that. I've heard good things
anime?
about it. Yeah, I've heard good things, so I'll have to watch it. I gifted 5 Tooney Town TV memberships. You guys are also able to gift memberships to your fellow chatters to give them a 1 month subscription to to Tooney Town TV, and we love having new members, and we will have plenty of exclusive content up for you guys by the end of this week. Tyler Galansky for $4.99 says, I admit I liked Disney's Witches song better than the Star Wars song, because the Star Wars song wasn't anything. It was the power of one, the power of two, the power of many. Which actually, you know what? I think I know somebody better that could do it.
If you only knew the power of one, the power of two, the power of many.
It's poor James Earl Jones.
I'm mad at myself because I couldn't remember his name. So
James
when
Earl
we were talking
Jones
about Aubrey Plaza licking the wound, I wanted to say, well, this wasn't a Dan Schneider show. There was a reason for it.
Right. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic.
Oh, that's horrible.
But no, this one wasn't actual. Okay, so here's the thing, and I can't say this in front of Culture Casino because he'll yell at me, but I can say it here. I kind of liked the Down the Witch's Road song. Like, I kind of thought it was a fun song that I would like maybe even listen to. I just didn't like. I thought it was so out of place in the episode, and we'll get to it as we continue down the episode. But like, it was just, I was just kind of like, what are we doing? Why are we doing a musical number? And
I liked it. It was just too. Yeah, I was gonna say it was just too long.
It was 3 verses, 3 whole verses.
But I actually did like it.
Yeah, that was. Listen, it was a good song. It's just like, again, and these Marvel shows all make there isn't enough action. If you're gonna drag it out, then you have to at least give me something to chew on. The Wiccan, doing his best Jack Tripper impression with Mr. Furley in the room. The running away from the scream extras wasn't really doing it for me.
Yeah,
or just standing here staring at them.
But I'm like, why couldn't they get in the house? Why couldn't they get in the house? He put a couch in front of the door, and they were like, we can't get around this. We're all powerful witches. We can't get around this love seat.
Why did he stare at them for 10 years? Like,
why didn't
I was
they
sitting
just
there going like, dude?
Why didn't they just bust in the house already? I don't know. Elsie Killer 17 for $2 says, I want to use Sydney Sweeney's chest as a pillow. I understand the desire, my friend, and I'm glad that you feel comfortable.
Can we have her be like that?
Living that truth.
Can we have her be like that one pillow dude who's like famous, for his ads with the pillow? He knows what I mean.
My pillow.
Yes,
Mike Lindell. We're giving for some reason every time I try to do
away.
Sydney Sweeney's pillow chest. You get Don West to sell it. Be dialing people.
Be dialing people.
I only brought up
Sydney Sweeney's chest right here, folks. You ain't never gonna find nothing this soft. And a Barry Bonds rookie card.
And we'll throw in Flopsy, the retired Beanie Baby.
That's right. You put him right in the middle, and everybody huggles and snuggles. It's great. Be dialing people.
Be dialing.
Be dialing.
I brought up Don West just because I didn't have a Mike Lindell voice, and every time I was trying to do it, it started to come out Don West. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to just make this Don West. So. In the second episode, we learned that Totally Not Wiccan wants to go down the witch's road. Agatha's like, it's gonna kill you, and I'm like, please let it kill him. But it's not going to, because this show is meant to boost him as a character. It's meant to introduce and boost him, because he is the only character in this show that is going to end up in a property with the word Avengers in it.
Didn't they cancel that?
No, I'm pretty sure that's still happening. I haven't heard any official word on them canceling. I haven't heard any official word on it happening either, so we'll see. By the time they actually do it, Ms. Marvel and Kate Bishop are going to be in their 30s probably. But
Yeah, they're gonna be filling out their AARP paperwork at this rate.
I liked what. So now we're calling the boy Teen because Agatha can't hear when he says his name, which very clearly that's some kind of protective magic from Wanda. I'm assuming that she can't know that it's Wanda's kid, because if she knows that it's Wanda's kid, she'd probably kill him. So he confesses that he's obsessed with Agatha Harkness, that he's a huge fanboy, which makes him the only one, which makes him 100% of the actual fan base for this show. This show was made for him.
I have a question, and it could just be my
Trish.
memory being off, but wasn't part of the thing at the end of WandaVision, it all got ended and destroyed, and her kids didn't exist anymore?
They
didn't exist. Am I making that up?
They didn't exist anymore, but they kind of like went away. I don't even know, because
I was a little confused by that.
It happened at the end of House of M. It happened at the end of House of M also, where her kids like melted, but eventually they do come back as Wiccan and Speed.
I guess it just felt like a leap to him being back, and in my head, I remembered it being that she didn't have them, and she lost them. Like that was a big part of the point of why she was so upset. So I'm kind of like, where is he coming from then? And she knew about him to put the spell on him.
I think it's going to be something like when she died, she gave up her life so that they could live. Like she willed them into existence on the way out.
Are we really supposed to be believing she's dead?
I never thought she was dead.
Well, the whole reason why the spell broke with Agatha was because Wanda was dead.
I mean, yeah, but I'm saying like at the end of Doctor Strange, I didn't think she was actually dead.
I didn't look at comic books. Nobody's ever dead.
They kind of also changed their mind on that too, though, because then they gave the credit to Wiccan breaking the spell. So Aubrey Plaza said the spell was breaking because Wanda was dead, but then Wiccan breaks the spell.
Yeah, that's also true. He said when she's doing the cringy interrogation, he says a couple of lines in Latin that makes her start to see things all wonky. And she even says that she's like, well, who are you that you were able to break a spell, cast by the Scarlet Witch?
I think I might have been zoned out for that part.
Yeah. So he says that he wants power, and that's why he wants to go down the witch's road. I don't think that's the case. I think his wish on the witch's road will be for his brother. I think that's how we get Speed in the universe. So we'll see. Then we're driving out of Westview, and we think we're going on a road trip, but apparently, thanks to bullcrap in storytelling, you're always at least 3.5 miles away from enough witches to be able to form a coven, apparently.
Yeah, and feel like a little overcrowding. They didn't really they didn't do a good job during the Inquisition and the Salem witch trials. I want a refund.
Going Shogi, welcome, my friend, for $10 says, I can't give membership, so here's a super. Also, Siegfried and Roy were the first to the gay magic table. That's very true. That's very true. I don't understand what's going on. YouTube has had this problem through my shows with pros, with that Poc Place, where people have had a hard time gifting memberships for the last couple of days. I was able to do it before, but I've heard a lot of people over the last couple of days saying they can't give memberships. But Going Shogi, I appreciate your support very, very much, and you are 100% right about Siegfried and Roy. Oh man. Okay, so they stop at a fortune teller, and it's Patti LuPone. Now, for those of you that don't know, Patti LuPone is one of the most amazing, incredible Broadway singers to ever exist. She is legend. She's the diva legend of Broadway. And so I love Patti LuPone. Trish, you love Patti LuPone.
Yeah.
I do not love Patti LuPone in this, because this is just terrible, terrible stuff.
When I saw her in the trailer, I was like, Patti LuPone? You got Patti LuPone? Like, okay.
She was in Steven Universe also. She was Yellow Diamond.
Was she really?
She was Yellow Diamond. All the diamonds were Broadway divas.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, I don't really know what you're talking about, but I know that. Yeah, that's cool.
Patti LuPone was Yellow Diamond. So she does some bad comedy with Catherine Hahn. She does the whole like, I'm a Southern lady. Then of course she says that Wanda took Agatha's agency, which is one of those which is one of those woke hot button words. Like, oh, yeah. Goodness. When she said agency, I was like, oh.
My butthole puckered. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I mean, at least she was saying that woman stole the agency, because if it was a dude, I would have turned the whole thing off.
Some white male colonizer.
Good Lord, it was Vision's fault as a white male. But he was a robot. Nah, close enough.
He was
Patty LuPone.
Hold on. So we know the Vision is going to finish off this trilogy of the Wandaverse, but now he's all white and male.
Oh,
so
yeah, I know.
Does the Vision show end with Vision turning into an android with the trans flag coloring to make up for his being a all white male?
Yes. I 100% think that's exactly where we're going, Kev. So Patty LuPone says she doesn't want to join the Coven. Then Patty LuPone does a weird scream in the back where she's like having visions and stuff like that. And that was the point where I said to the country of Argentina, it's okay to cry for her now. That was a good joke. You guys are allowed to laugh. I knew Trish was going to get that one.
I did.
So Patty LuPone writes down a couple of names, and she's like, here are your names. Go get out of here. And it's like, oh, but your name's on this list. And she's like, foiled. So now she's in. And then we go meet Candle Witch. We go meet Candle Witch, and we learn that I guess she's some kind of fraud. She's, Trish, what is a jade egg? There was a joke about a jade egg in here when Agatha walks in, and I assumed this is just some lady thing that I don't know about.
Well, it's a Gwyneth Paltrow goop style lady thing where sticking things in orifices that women have and men don't for exercises down there, and I guess healing crystal properties. I mean, I don't want to say anything that'll be too much and get you in trouble, but
does the exercise involve Richard Simmons?
I don't think Richard Simmons is going anywhere near where that egg is going.
Yeah, you beat me to the joke. We were both scrambling for the joke on the ground, and you managed to scoop it up before I got to it.
I literally, I sat back and I was like, guys are not going to get this joke.
Well, it's important to work your pelvic floor. That's why you don't tinkle when you sit down.
It is. You got to keep those muscles strong.
That's right. Got to work that grip, brother.
Now, my thing here was the most that grip. Oh my god! I need him. All right, I'm composed now. Oh my goodness. I
love Gwyneth Paltrow in Goop. I mean, in an ironic way, but I love it. And so I did, on some level, be like, but overall, I was kind of like, was the jade egg thing really necessary in this programming where young people will be watching it?
Here's the thing. You have to write for the audience that you have, right? And this is the same for any business in the world. You have to present products for the audience you have, not the audience you want. Marvel, for the better part of how long it's been since Endgame, it feels like a million years ago.
It's been 5 years,
they have not wanted their audience. They don't want the male audience anymore. They don't want the straight male audience that they have. And that is the the kid that plays Totally Not Wiccan, he was Joe Locke. He was saying Marvel is not just for straight white men. And I'm like, okay, no, it's not. But that's also your biggest demographic for the company. And
can we pause for a second? I don't understand why this is a thing. It's not like someone stood up, got on a microphone, and said, hear ye, this is only for white guys.
Yeah, I know.
No one has ever thought that. Before we hit this stupid time, I'd say 2012. 2012 is when it all went to doo-doo. It took 2016 for us to realize we were swimming neck deep in it. The world existed, and you liked your stuff. And if I didn't like it, hey, not my cup of tea. I'm not here to poop on your parade. But if you want to like mine, you can like mine. Star Wars was for everybody. And I feel bad for the elder geeks in here. If you were a geek during the 70s and 80s, you got the crap kicked out of you because you were a nerd. And then The Dark Knight came out, made $1 billion, and these weirdos decided they had to go ruin it for everybody. Geekdom comic books, sci-fi, just by virtue of the kind of storytelling that they tell, because the stories are generally morality based stories with optimism, are by nature inclusive. And if you watch shows like Doctor Who, or even listen, freaking Miami Vice, if you looked at TV in the 80s and the 90s, you saw a diverse planet. It just wasn't someone was like, hey, there's only one black guy in this room. If you don't find 3, you're a racist. The Bechdel test was an effing joke. It was never meant to be taken seriously. And now
I know.
these psycho blue hairs tattoo it on their face.
I was thinking yesterday, actually, I was thinking back to Terminator 2, which actually one of our supers brought up here recently. I was thinking, I just realized this. One of the smartest dudes who caused like all this like AI stuff to happen was actually a black dude. When I saw the movie, I was just like, I realized this yesterday. I was like, oh, I never thought about his race. I thought about him being a smart dude who made robots.
Yeah, Miles Dyson was just a guy, brother from another planet.
No,
well,
I
my
agree
thing
with
is like I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say my thing is I'm a woman, and outside of Black
What?
Widow, my favorite characters in Marvel are guys. Like I love Thor is my absolute favorite. I love Tony. I know you'll razz me about liking Bucky, but like I like guy characters. Like I don't just
like
because
Bucky
they're
too.
male doesn't mean I don't take to
Bucky's
them.
a fascinating character, and it's weird that they haven't done more with him.
They need him to carry that Thunderbolts movie no one wants to see that has absolutely nothing to do with the comic book Thunderbolts.
I know. I don't even think Thunderbolt Ross is involved.
No, he's not.
Wait, what? You mean in like the comics, or you mean in the movie? Because
no, in the movie, I don't think Thunderbolt Ross is in that movie at all.
Isn't that Harrison Ford taking over for?
Yes, but that's in the Captain America movie, and we haven't heard yet if he's actually going to be in the Thunderbolts.
It was the Thunderbolts movie. Maybe I just assumed.
We have this interesting draw. We have this interesting draw to characters that are radically different from the norms of which we usually see ourselves every day. And why would we want to routinely see ourselves in fiction? Because most people, the reality is, have self-esteem issues. Like we always micromanage how we look. We think about our actions. We stay up at 3 a.m, think about something we did when we were 4. Why do we need to? Yeah. Why do we always need to see? It's always cool when you see something like you in a show, but I don't want every character. Most video game characters are like play as in games are usually female. I don't want to be Lara Croft, but I love playing as Lara Croft. Why do I need to see me being Dude Raider? I don't need that.
I mean, I say it every time, Nolan. My favorite show of all time is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I was able to identify with Buffy despite the fact that she is female and I am male, because I identified with universal concepts like heroism, like bravery, like family, like friendship, like things that anyone can glom onto. And we're going in here, we're making Jade Egg jokes. Because it is Marvel has gone from a boys brand that girls liked to a girls brand that nobody likes.
Because you know what kills me about them? Oh, go ahead. I don't want to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, when Captain Marvel came out, they were making like a big to-do. Oh, it's the first female Captain Marvel movie. I was like, first of all, Wonder Woman's already come out, so you're slow on the uptake, A. B, you should have made a Black Widow movie how many years before that?
Yes.
And so it's like, I felt like from that point, they're like, we want to put props for having women in there. And I'm sitting back going, you want props and you want to be like, oh, we're so inclusive, but you didn't do it when you should have. So that's actually not that impressive at all to me as a woman. It stuck out to me.
And when everybody was asking for it, people were begging for a Black Widow movie.
Yeah.
And there's no reason not, I can't honestly, I mean, outside of whatever business goings on there were, but I can't think of a reason why they didn't do it.
They didn't think she was going to make money. And that
she was a woman.
I think that was
she would have been better than Captain Marvel. She would have done better, her movie.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, and look, Captain, let's be realistic here. The only reason Captain Marvel made $1 billion was because they sandwiched it between the two biggest movies of all time, between Infinity War and Endgame, and it was the Infinity War post-credit scene. So everyone thought that you had to see this movie if you're going to understand Endgame, and then it turned out it was completely inconsequential.
You were
saying
they told it to you. You go see this movie so it can bridge the gap.
You're saying Captain Marvel is the creamy center.
Oh,
no, I'm not saying that. The creamy center is actually enjoyed by a lot of people. Yeah, no, but like we saw it with the Marvels. They were like, this is going to be a movie for women, made by women, starring women. It's going to be your female heroes. No women went to see that movie. They were like, oh, well, this was all the straight men that did that tanked this movie. And we're like, no, actually, if you look at the demographics of who went to see that movie, it was mostly men. It was mostly men went to see that movie, and no women went to see. Because look, at the end of the day, I'm sorry, a lot of the guys who bring their girlfriends to these movies, they're going because their boyfriend is going, and they're going because they're hoping they're going to see Chris Hemsworth's butt.
Well, it's your
don't judge me.
Your primary.
I don't judge you at all.
Your primary audience is male, so men are going to go see it. This was the same. It was the same breakdown for Birds of Prey. It was the same breakdown for that awful Charlie's Angels movie that everybody likes to forget came out. Like when you look at the demo, the number of men versus women it's exponentially different. The women are not going to see these movies, and I would wager it's probably because women don't want to be talked down to about what they need to go like and enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like how the men are getting tired of being lectured every movie they watch.
Also, I think they think all women are the same type of woman. Like, strong is this way, smart is this way. And what killed me is, like, with Captain Marvel, is that they really wanted to drive home that she was really strong, and they gave her no personality, cardboard personality. And I'm sitting there going, Tony's a genius. Tony's an absolute genius, and he has personality for days. So that's not true. Like, you can be, it's like when James Cameron said you can either be strong or you can be pretty, ladies. Can't be both. It's like, that's crap.
That's crap.
Yeah.
Well, I said it before. Anybody who actually pays attention to James Cameron has not heard anything James Cameron has had to say in the last 30 years.
Mm-hmm. Adding to the panel right now, new panelist arriving. It is our one and only friend, Mr. Martin Stone.
Hello.
Martin, you're catching us in the middle of the Agatha conversation.
I've actually seen it.
Yes, I know. I would love to hear your thoughts. We're kind of in like the first like quarter of the second episode right now. So why don't you give us your very brief review of the first episode?
Okay. Let's see.
The way that sounded. All right.
I must.
Has anybody noticed that writers seem to have fallen in love with we're going to start the show one way, but that's not going to be the show you're watching?
Oh, yeah. They think they're intelligent by doing that.
Right. And so Agatha All Along begins as a, what's that, true detective kind of thing?
Procedural crime drama.
Yeah. But something's amiss. Something's not right. And I don't know.
But we know what's remiss.
Exactly.
We know what's not right. The characters don't know, but we know everything. There's no tension in anything that they're building. That was the problem with that entire first episode.
Yeah, when I was driving to where I am to log in, I was thinking about that. How this entire show is Agatha is not a good person. She's not shown any glimmers of goodness in either of the two episodes released. So why are we watching this? And the only possible answer is because of what we already know from another series.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm sure she's going to have glimmers of goodness as the show goes on. We're going to probably see a change in her. But I don't know, man. I don't know if anyone cares.
You know what's going to happen.
But now
she has a tragic backstory that explains her hard exterior. And then the one-man pride parade will melt her wicked heart, and maybe she'll be the good witch after all.
The one-man pride parade.
That's pretty good.
I was dying when he said that.
You mentioned the Charlie's Angels movie before, Kev. By the way, that was the movie that had the single greatest headline of all time. Oh, single greatest pair of headlines of all time. Straight white males, this movie is not for you. Why are straight white males refusing to see this movie?
This is the same publication or website or whatever.
The same website with the same picture.
That's
One is
ridiculous.
one is from November 9th and the other is from December the 16th.
5 weeks
of the same year.
later.
When
Yeah.
you read that second headline, it was like 90% your Grace Randolph voice.
Yeah. Why are straight white males not seeing this movie? Could it be sexism?
Well, that's been a thing lately in Hollywood. I've noticed that if you point out like, this is really heavy-handed, skewing one way, whatever way that is, they turn around and they're like, well, I didn't make it for you, don't watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't, and they're like, why isn't anybody watching it? They're racist, homophobes. And I'm just like, you told me not to watch it. Like, I don't know what you want from me.
The stupidest thing you can do in any business is to tell anyone not to consume your product.
Look,
Yeah.
I love Eric Kripke for Supernatural, but he said that about The Boys. I was like, dude, really?
Well, and look at what happened. No one
Didn't that crash and burn? Like that
Absolutely.
I don't know
shows-
about like the numbers, but I know people didn't enjoy it. I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
watch it.
it
the
dropped
numbers
out of the
didn't
public
burn.
conversation.
Do any of you remember a TV show on Comedy Central that they've tried to memory hole called Viva Variety?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, it was some guys from the state with their own variety show on Comedy Central, and it was like a Sonny and Cher, like when they got back together after they were divorced, like they were doing a show together, but they're divorced. It was like that. The hosts are some nondescript Eastern European voices. And at one point they did a cigarette commercial, and it was the one time I ever saw where "Don't buy this product" was hilarious because it was like, the censors won't let us tell you that Viva Variety cigarettes are delicious. And then the Viva Variety dancers would come in and say, Viva Variety cigarettes are bad. We're bad. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
So funny. Oh man. So we get to the candle shop, right? And we meet Candle Witch. And then
Candle Witch.
and then you know, totally not Wiccan, all of a sudden has this big like you know, confident monologue, and I'm like, I'm sorry, are you the doe-eyed child who is our window into this world, or are you this confident powerhouse? Like, shouldn't we have to go from one to the other? Why are you both things at the same time? The answer is bad writing. When he what?
When he extorts her with
Yes.
knowledge of her legal troubles.
Yes, which is ridiculous. Like that
And
should have been Agatha doing it.
if it was supposed to be like a trait that's under the surface, like, oh, he's playing dumb, they didn't do a very good job of conveying that. It just seems like it was whiplash.
No, and then they go to the mall. Agatha sees a rat and she's all like, "Oh no, they're coming to get me." And then we go to early 2000s Hot Topic to meet middle-aged Asian witch. Which, by the way, named so because that's all we really know about her. We introduced the concept of blood witches because your mother was a witch, mostly because we're gonna find out that totally not Wiccan's mother was a witch, being Wanda. Yeah,
I just realized I don't know their names. Like, I know
It doesn't
Agatha
matter.
and I know now.
It doesn't
But I
matter.
just realized I don't know them. They said them, but I don't know them.
Well, let's see. There's Topher Grace's mom from.
Kitty Foreman. I keep calling her Kitty.
I was like, protect Kitty at all costs, please.
That's right.
Or I'm
She
out.
is, by the way, the joke of her is going to be so dead by the next episode. Like the joke of her being there with them on the Witch's Road. That's going to be.
Yeah.
The
young Wiccan could be interesting if in the end it turns out he's Satan or something like that.
Oh, he's Mephisto.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen, man. We all know who he is. It's I mean, it is a WandaVision sequel, so I guess we are all obligated to start talking about when Mephisto is going to show up. But I think that I think April Ludgate will end up kind of being the villain of this. Now, so they get middle-aged Asian witch to they get her fired, and then they're like, come help us. Your mom died on the Witch's Road, and she was a musician, and she's like, no, and leaves. So then we go back the witches all arrive at the house, Patty LuPone, Candle Witch, and even middle-aged Asian witch, and then they're like, we don't have a green witch. It's marked on the flyer with a black heart, and we remember Aubrey Plaza had her super, super cool, edgy line where she's like, I have a heart. It's just black. So instead we go outside and we get Kitty, who's not a witch, who, and they're all like, this is the most important piece of the puzzle that we need to go down this deadly witch's road. And she brings in this bubbly housewife who clearly knows nothing about why they're there, and no one questions it.
I thought that was because she has a green thumb.
I was gonna say because she gardens.
Yeah. So like she has latent, like her gardening ability is some kind of latent witchy wonderful power, and that's why she
knowledge.
We don't know. Well, I mean, she does eventually learn the words to the Witch's Road song, and then they start to sing the Witch's Road song, the ballad.
For 9 years.
Song.
It is
so
the song
you know what
that doesn't end.
No, so they sang the first verse, and I was like, all right, that was kind of lame. I mean, the song was kind of okay, but this was lame to do in an episode. And then they started the second verse, and I was like, oh my god, are you kidding me? And they went on with that, and then they finished the second verse. I'm like, okay, finally, let's move on. And then they started the third verse, and I was like, what is happening?
You have Patty LuPone. That's what's happening.
You have Patty LuPone.
You make her sing.
It is the first time, Trish, in my entire life that I wanted Patty LuPone to stop singing.
I just felt bad for her.
I wanted to be like Jack on Will and Grace when he goes, "Shut up, Patty LuPone! Shut your brassy, magnificent trap!"
I just felt bad.
And they auto-tuned her. They auto-tuned Patty LuPone.
Well,
that should be
she's
illegal.
Not experienced.
That should be illegal.
No
the auto-tune should become self-aware and be like, I'm not auto-tuning Patty LuPone.
Right?
Look, I'm here for Miley Cyrus. We're not doing this.
Yeah.
Now I'm picturing like this is like in 2011, like experimental AI, like someone's making like the Friday music video with Rebecca Black, and the computer becomes sentient and starts trying to kill him, but it's saying the song the whole time.
The thing is, the song's not that bad.
No, it's not. Alejandro Melendez for $1.99 says best part of Endgame is when Thanos yeets Captain Marvel. That is very true. I do love that moment when he takes the Power Stone and just the part immediately preceding it where he headbutts her and she doesn't move. I was like, no, I'm sorry. Like he just beat the hell out of Thor with his bare hands with not a single stone, and she's Supermaning this thing? I don't think so. No.
She is the living avatar of bestest ever. And can I take a quick second here? Because Captain Marvel really just
grinds your gears.
I know it burns your butt. Yeah,
it grinds my gears. Because and I had the same problem with Agatha too, because the Agatha in the TV show is not anything like comic book Agatha Harkness. The Carol Danvers is one of my favorite comic book characters. And they had this little piece of wooden boy play her and make her dull. There's just nothing there. There's just nothing there. Mm-hmm. And then they take one of the most important characters and swap out Marvel for Elizabeth Warren, and I'm just supposed to take it like no one noticed it. Like Thanos' greatest enemy. When Captain Marvel dies of cancer, Thanos comes back from the dead to escort him to the afterlife because he's like, this is my dude. We hated each other properly, and I love him. And then I got, it's okay. Touch the weird-looking cube and protect these orphans. You're the bestest ever. Thanks, Elizabeth Warren. Bye.
The power was in you all along. You didn't have to do anything to get it. You just had to believe in yourself.
Get shot by space group.
So it's the logic of the Power Rangers movie. Got you.
No. In the Power Rangers movie, they have to go to Phaedos. They have to go to Phaedos, and they have to pass trials and meet Dulcea and get the ninja outfits and have to get the great power.
And who knew Dulcea was going to go move to New York City to become a cop?
I know. We do not hurry. Your planet is doomed. I remember that in the trailer, and I was like, "Who are you?" Like. I love that. I love that movie so much. Like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. It was like the definitive movie of my childhood. Like
Well, I have good news for you.
What's
we
that?
did a Lost Guys on it. You can go
Did
find
you?
that. Yeah.
Wait, how is it lost?
How did we kind of square that circle?
Well, we basically kind of bend it a bit so we can talk about some obscure things, maybe hiding in the back of the closet somewhere. You might we bent it because we really wanted to talk about the Power Rangers movie. Although that episode kills me to pieces because it was like one of my favorite episodes we ever did, but my mic settings were wrong. So I was using my webcam mic and I sound like I'm off a 2005 YouTube potato microphone. So I literally want to call up Jonas and be like, can I like AI modify my voice so I don't sound, I'll re-record line for line if you want.
And I think that Hangry wanted to put up pictures of Mariska Hargitay dressed as Dulcia. I think that's why we did it.
I was 3 months ago years old when I realized that Ivan Ooze was the villain from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yes.
I think Nolan was this minute years old.
I think we mentioned that.
Okay, Marvin, when we do Turbo, you're totally invited. Like, I want redemption after my crappy microphone episode.
Turbo. Nolan, you have to do Turbo on The Lost Guys because with the Turbo movie, there's like a 3-hour cut of it that has never been seen by human eyes.
3 hours?
There was an entire secondary plot that got cut with like when they're on the ship. Which is why Zordon, the cut was so sloppy that they were like, Zordon gives them a ship that can't be detected by Divatox. And then Elgart comes up and is like, Auntie D, we're detecting 5 humans, but no vessel. And I'm like, really, Zordon? That was you? That's a big mistake to make. Oops. Great sage.
That's like Wonder Woman.
My bad, Rangers. Hey,
you gotta close the door. It's an invisible jet. Have to wash hands, huh?
Ivan Ooze is such a good villain. He was terrifying as a kid. I mean, like, from this moment forth, the world as you know it shall cease to exist. Welcome to my nightmare. I love that so much. The Tengu Warriors, where they were like, well, we still have the bird costumes. You want to just put them in the TV show? Of course we do. We didn't have to pay for them. 20th Century Fox paid for them. So,
and it has the most
I love the uniforms.
Ever. Yes, it does. Oh, the soundtrack when they're jumping out of the plane.
Chili Peppers, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Power, keep on trying. Oh.
And I will die on the hill saying those are the best Power Ranger uniforms ever. The armor aesthetic they did, like those, like the lights they built into the Yellow Ranger's helmet, like, it's like perfection. Sorry, I'm geeking out right now.
My favorite line in the whole thing, because I loved how they like instead of squatting, it wasn't I'm a frog. Instead of squatting Babu, they chose to make Mordant the pig, be like the other henchman that we've never seen before.
Volvo's cousin twice removed.
Yes, who was visiting. Where I love when he goes, "You forget, I'm a master of disguise," and he goes, "How can I forget? I never knew." There is one of the clips that I've been meaning to clip for like regular videos. Is leap to our doom, leap to our doom. Like every time, like something. Oh man,
I'm sorry, I'm losing it because now I just can't. I'm thinking of like the Acolyte viewers just running off the cliff right now.
Nolan, you've got to do a Lost Guys on Turbo. I mean,
it's a I'm gonna have a
story.
I'm gonna have a meeting here with Martin and Hangry, and we need to push that episode up a bit because that would be a blast. I just want redemption after how bad my mic messed up in the last one. I wanna go ham on this one.
if you want us to pop in for that one, we're more than willing to do it. It's because the Turbo movie is so interesting.
Martin, have you seen the Turbo movie?
Not for years.
Probably nobody's seen it for years. Nobody watches it now.
Nobody watches it a second time.
Well, the thing I was shocked at with the Turbo movie. Go ahead, Gav.
I only watched it the first time because it was my first summer as a manager in the Pearl River movie theater. And I was like, I have nothing to do. I'm going to watch this movie. And I'm like, oh gosh. replace Rocky with a kid. I don't care. Who is this cousin Oliver looking kid? Oh, Jason's here. Oh, Jason's heel.
Jason's
Get him,
quite
Jason.
dominant. Yeah, I was rooting for Jason and Kim before I found out Amy Jo Johnson doesn't like Power Rangers. And then I was like, Cat's better than you.
Cat was better than Kimberly.
Yeah. Amy Jo Johnson. She never wants to come back unless there's a movie involved. When she got the cameo in the movie, I was like, that should have been David Yost. That should have been him instead of. Oh, I was so mad.
Wasn't it supposed to be too? Is part of that 3-hour epic. If you get a chance, take the time to research everything that was supposed to happen with that movie.
With
And
Turbo
like,
or with Turbo or the
Turbo.
Oh, okay. No, I was talking about the one from a couple years ago.
Oh,
that wasn't good. It wasn't
good.
good.
With
the
Goopy,
Dark Knight,
Goopy,
the Dark Knight Power Ranger movie.
Yeah, with Goopy Goldar.
Yeah,
and we changed everybody's ethnicity because we couldn't have the black guy be the Black Ranger again.
Yeah. Yeah, you couldn't have the guy who has a tiny drop of Native American blood be the Red Ranger. You couldn't have the black guy be the Black Ranger. You couldn't have the Asian girl be the Yellow Ranger.
And the weird
a little like gentrification.
The really weird revenge porn story that they did.
Well, listen, that's why I keep going. Not everything needs to be the Dark Knight. Why did this movie go so hard? We open up with a car wreck. Kimberly's making revenge porn.
Yep.
Billy's autistic and drowns, but gets resurrected. I'm like, what is happening? Why is this happening?
Kevin, you said the Dark Knight. Now I'm picturing it's the interrogation scene, but instead of the Joker, it's Alpha 5.
All right.
Oh,
speaking of things that shouldn't be in stuff nominally for young people, I'd like to ask: did anybody notice that the rating for this was TV 14, and yet Catherine Hahn's rear end is in it?
Yeah, I didn't notice the rating, but I obviously noticed the rear end.
It reminded me of when I was a little kid, when Fox was a brand new network television, and they had this show called Werewolf, and every episode ended with the guy turning back into his human self, and then he ran around with his butt out, and I would laugh hysterically every time because I was a 6-year-old.
But
did it ever end with, like, in Dexter's Lab, that one episode where he's in the shower and you see his backside and he's just all sad in the shower?
D. Oh my goodness.
It's consistent though if you think about it, because Thor: Love and Thunder was like a few years ago, and that was PG-13.
They're doing some kind of Cartoon Network like Avengers kind of thing where they bring like all the cartoons together. And I saw Dexter was in there, and I'm like, no, you can't bring Dexter back because the voice actor's dead, and no one else is ever going to be that level of Dexter than Chucky Finster from Rugrats. She was Chucky Finster on Rugrats. She was Oblina on Ariel Monsters, and she was Dexter in Dexter's Lab. That woman. And she was the mail carrier on Salute Your Shorts in live action. She was Ugg's girlfriend.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, she passed away.
Salute Your Shorts got me. I know that one.
Salute Your Shorts was like the show.
Loved that show.
Like, get it right or pay the price.
Salute Your Shorts and Hey Dude were like the shows where you were like, I'm a big kid now. I watch Salute Your Shorts. Hey Dude.
I was way more Salute Your Shorts though. I loved
everybody
that
was. Salute Your Shorts was the superior show.
And then you find out that it's only like 20 episodes in total.
Yeah.
I'm like, seriously?
Okay, were you as terrified as I still to this day, like sometimes I'll be like laying there about to go to sleep and randomly, and it will jolt me awake because I will get this like sheer terror in my head. I will just hear someone go, Zeke, the plumber.
Oh my God, it's the best episode.
That is a terrifying episode.
That shows why I know a giraffe's tongue is black.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I knew
because of Sponge and the quiz show. I mean, I was like 8 when I first saw it, but I never forgot that a giraffe's tongue is black.
Yeah.
Now that you've admitted that about the Zeke the plumber thing, I think we can all expect Mrs. Movie Monster to do that at some point.
she doesn't know what it is. She's never watched the show, so I said she was like I asked her one time, I was like, oh, this show. And she said, well, I didn't watch the show. I said, what were you doing? And she was like, no, I don't know, not being a white kid. Like,
Oh,
He's savage, man.
I know, she really is.
She's perfect for you.
Yeah, no, she's the best. But yeah, no, Zeke the plumber was entirely too scary. And I also never watched Are You Afraid of the Dark because
I love Are You Afraid. I have behind me. I have seasons 1 through 5. I don't know if they still do it, but Amazon did when they do like to order. They make it when you order it, and I saw them and I was like, I have to have these.
My friends used to be like, look, this is one of like the really tame ones. It's just about like these people that like come to take you to jail if you make a prank phone call. And I was like, okay, I'll watch that. Nightmares for a month.
Is
Are
Are
You
You
Afraid of the
Dark the
What
one
was
with
this
the...
show? Because I believe this was something like Goosebumps. Was it that extreme?
It was bigger than Goosebumps. What were you saying, Martin?
I was going to say that was the one with the Midnight Society, right?
Yep.
Yes, it was the Midnight Society. Yeah.
Nev Campbell did an
it was different.
episode. Great.
Yeah, it was different stories each time. Watchers Woods was like that terrified me for like a year because I had
The
woods
Who's
behind my
Who.
house.
The who's who of late Gen X, early millennial Canadian actors went
Mhm.
through that show. So I think Ryan Reynolds did an episode.
Did you
I
really?
think what's her name from Firefly?
Oh.
The redhead, the Canadian redhead.
I know who you're talking about, but yeah.
The one that played Kaylee. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
She was on that
That's-
episode a couple of times, or that
That's
show a
really
couple of times.
interesting.
The one
Really
with Nev
interesting.
Campbell was like a big deal. I remember they were like on it, being like,
Yeah.
Nev Campbell is going to be in this episode. And it was the one where the dude makes soup and the special ingredient is fear. And so he would just lock people in a room.
Isn't
and
that Gordon
whatever
Ramsay's
scared the
recipe?
No. You're thinking of Despair, Martin.
Oh, right.
Well, whatever you were afraid of would be like coming at you in the room, and like the fear would drip into this vial, and he would add it to the soup, and it was like, oh, yeah.
Oh,
I
my
love Are You
goodness.
Afraid of the Dark?
So we got off on a Nickelodeon tangent. But by the way, Mrs. Movie Monster and I rewatch Rugrats periodically, like on Paramount Plus. It's like the reason we have Paramount Plus still is that we watch Rugrats periodically. We still know every line of like every episode. That show is just that show does not get old.
I saw a clip the other day, and it was like the clip where Stu has like all those toys that he made, and Tommy just snaps at the end of the episode. He's like, "We're not gonna take this anymore," and they just start kicking, like destroying all the toys in the backyard.
Mr. Fiend. Mr. Fiend. Yeah.
Yes, that
Hey,
was
little friend, it's time to
hilarious.
play. We're gonna have a happy day.
Ivy
It was
Garden is
grade A comedy.
Ivy Garden Mist in the comments here says that the guy from The Notebook did the camera episode.
Oh, that's interesting.
Which guy from The Notebook? The Canadian guy from The Notebook or the American guy who's the permanent, not the right guy in the movies?
James Marsden.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's Ryan
Marsden.
Gosling.
James Marsden is wonderful in Jury Duty on Amazon Prime.
I've heard that show is really funny.
It's so funny.
Yeah,
Because
he's
like
good.
you know that it's fake and that the one guy is real, but they don't like harp on it like Joe Schmo did. Like Joe Schmo would constantly be going like behind the scenes with it. And they don't go behind the scenes until the very last episode of Jury Duty. So
I love that
it's
James
really
Marsden is playing himself as
Yes,
a huge jerk.
He's playing James Marsden, and in the first episode, he's like he's trying to get out of the jury duty, and he's like, well, I might bring a lot of attention because I'm a celebrity, and the judge is like, what have you done? And he's like, I've never heard of you, and he's like, well, this guy has it. It's like the guy thinks it's all real, and he's like, sir, do you know who this man is? He's like, yeah, he did like X-Men, and he's like, oh, well, okay, well, you're still gonna do the jury duty. And then afterwards, James Marsden goes up to him. He's like, what are you doing? You don't lead with X-Men. The only thing anyone remembers from that was Jackman. It was so funny. All right. So, the best, he was like, yeah, I was in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. He's like, you were? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I didn't know there was a movie. He's like, it can't be very good, right? And he's just like, no, people liked it. And the next day, the guy comes in, he goes, hey man, I watched the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. It's awesome. And I'm like, yes, it is. That first Sonic the Hedgehog movie is great. All right, so back
Second one's
to
even better.
so Catherine Hahn and Patty LuPone have revealed that there is only going to be one season of Agatha All Along.
Oh, so have the ratings.
Yeah, pretty much, I'm sure.
Yeah,
do you think
we
this
haven't
is
seen ratings yet?
Martin, do you think this is going to make Nielsen?
No.
Like the actual Nielsen top 10 for streaming, or it might
I don't think
make
they have enough
streaming originals
episodes.
list.
I think since you have a minutes watched threshold you have to hit, it's only 4 episodes, right?
Is it only 4 episodes?
I think
thought
it's
it was
something pretty
9.
short. Oh,
I
it's
assumed
9.
it was
Okay.
the standard 8 or 9.
I think.
But
Let me,
I don't know. It could be wrong.
I'll check. I'll
Go
be
ahead,
on it. I'll
Trish.
look.
So
I'll be on it.
while you do that, I'm going to go here. Catherine Hahn, who
for 9 episodes.
well, it can't be 4 episodes because Alan Ing. I was on that Park Place with Alan Ing this morning, and he's seen the first 4 episodes. And
Well-
Oh, maybe that's where I was getting that from. I thought
yeah.
he'd seen all of it.
yeah, no, because the reviewers got the first 4 episodes already.
Okay.
By the way, Alan said, I said, Alan,
It's fine.
tell me, does it get more painful? And he said yes.
Ooh.
And he said, if you liked the song, just wait till you get it as a rock ballad in 2 episodes. The song is coming back, guys, just to warn you.
I honestly thought when they made reference to Blackheart that we would get more Joan Jett and the Blackhearts kind of vibe out of it, kind of
nice.
maybe. But no.
That's
So
too
actress
cool.
Catherine Hahn, who plays Agatha Harkness in Marvel Studios' Agatha All Along series on Disney Plus, appeared to reveal the series will not receive a second season during an appearance on the red carpet for the show's premiere. Let's see what she said. Patty LuPone, who plays Patty LuPone in the show, also made it clear that the show was one and done. When asked how many seasons she's going to do, LuPone responded, "Well, there's only one. It's a one-off." She elaborated, "Well, Jack Schaefer only writes 1 season, so that's why there's not a second season of WandaVision." However, LuPone then shared, "I hope there's a second season, but I hope Jack would write it." So, okay. Patty LuPone.
I don't feel like Marvel shows need a second season,
No, the only one that's ever gotten one was Loki.
which you would think I would have watched, but no, I gave up by then.
Yeah.
Hawkeye would have been nice, especially if it would have been about Hawkeye. But
Well,
I mean, that
aren't
would've
all
been
of these
nice.
shows basically just vehicles to introduce new people?
So
That was
pretty
part of the
much,
reason
yeah.
I gave up. I'm like, eh.
we were promised Die Hard with an Avenger, and that's not what we got with Hawkeye.
Well, Loki introduced Kang. The Falcon and Winter Soldier introduced Sam as Captain America. WandaVision didn't really introduce anybody, but well, it introduced Agatha. Agatha is meant to introduce Wiccan. So, it's
Like
they
the
all do kind of serve
logic
that
of
purpose.
like, it's like the logic of like an 80s cartoon. The whole reason this exists is to introduce product for the kids to buy, like a toy or something like that. But every time you bring up these, I'm just like, well, those toys didn't sell. Those toys didn't sell. Those toys definitely didn't sell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't even know what kid buys Marvel toys anymore. But yeah, so that was what they had to say. It's a one and done, like most of them. Loki, as far as I know, Loki is the only one that ever got a second season. So,
Well, for what it's worth, Agatha All Along is 9 episodes.
Okay.
And so it's the 2 that we
Nine?
got. Then the next 5 are weekly, and then the last 2 are going to be released on October 30th. So obviously they
Okay.
want to do that for Halloween.
yeah. So now one of the reasons why everybody was nervous was also on the red carpet after Disney marketed The Acolyte as the gayest Star Wars project of all time. Aubrey Plaza and others have said that Agatha All Along is the gayest Marvel project of all time. It worked so well the first time, right? Like just, a winning strategy, clearly.
Well, my
Yeah.
thing is, a coven is inherently just feminine. So you could have just had a female show with a female coven and like, it's almost like they have to make like, this will be really girly if they're all gay.
Now, all right, now in reviewing Aubrey Plaza's response, I'm starting to think it's her dry sense of humor when they said, this same guy from Variety, this dude with the chin here, he's constantly up in every. I can't stand him. He is
He's been around for years too.
Constantly bombarding people, just asking them questions about how gay things are. He says, I've seen the first episode, but Agatha is the gayest Marvel project yet. Do you agree? And she goes, it better be, because that's what I signed up for. I think it is. She then said that it's going to be a gay explosion by the end of it, which could just be Aubrey Plaza's sense of humor. Yeah, she said it will be a gay explosion by the end. And then she was asked, she was not the only one asked. Now, the rest of them gave much
This one
more
gets
heartfelt
me.
responses. Sashir Zamata also agreed that she plays Candle Witch, that the show is the gayest. She said, I would agree with that. And then when asked to explain, she said, you'll see when you watch it. I don't think a lot of people are gonna. But I think witches are queer inherently, just
Wait,
because
what?
we
I
are
know,
outcast
I know.
and set aside for many reasons. And I think this show shows a really good representation of different types of people, and that we can all use the power that we have to go forth and be great. So all outcasts are gay now?
Yes, except
What?
for 70s and 80s geeks who were the actual bloody outcasts.
I know. Well, 90s geeks were pretty much outcasts also. I mean, you know, it was a hard knock life in the 90s when you were a geek. But yes, and
Especially if you're making any references.
yeah. Actor Joe Locke also agreed the show is the gayest Marvel project to date. He explained it's got many layers. Definitely gay is one of them.
Why is this like? I mean, it's a rhetorical question, but like, why is this what they're focusing on? They could be like, "Oh, it's the story." It's
because
you know what
they've
I mean?
got
So it
nothing
feels like
else.
there is
Trish.
none.
They've
That's
got
what I'm
nothing
saying.
else.
It's
Wait,
it's the beard. When the show is bad, we go to it is the most diverse thing ever. It is the most woman and female empowerment thing ever. It is the gayest thing ever. It is the bestest thing ever. And then Disney drops a bunch of money on the shills and the bots to gaslight and shame everybody.
Yep.
Also, as a woman,
100%
I like looking at dudes. Like, you know what I mean? I don't mind seeing a good looking guy. Like, they think like women only want to watch women. No, we don't.
Hey, check your privilege at the door.
No.
At Disney
I
now,
refuse.
we learned that at Disney animation, women are only allowed to animate the female characters, or female characters are only allowed to be animated by women.
So women can animate both, but men can't.
Yes.
This is playground logic, everybody. This is literally the logic of an elementary school child.
We can't use
It
the word
is
I want to
stupid.
use. This is window licking stupid. I can't wait for someone to punch that EEOC card and sue these idiots for breaking every federal law that has existed since the 60s.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
I'm baffled how it hasn't happened, other than people are too afraid to do it. But at some point in time, what are you really getting out of it? Because once they get any inkling of you being dissatisfied, they're going to get rid of you anyway.
Take a look at what the showrunner said about this being the gayest project of all time, because this is my favorite quote. She goes, I will take that, and I will love that, and I will tuck that under my pillow at night. That's what I will say. I will say this show is about love. It is about found family, theatricality. It's about nastiness.
And it could be all of those things anyway.
The fabulous kind, the well-styled kind. That's our show. Yeah, when I look at this show, I do think about nastiness, but it's not good, fabulous, or well-styled.
I just want that clip from that one show with the guy going, "Yeah, gay."
Yeah, Community.
Yes, that one. You need to have a clip of that.
Professor
By the way, this lady here who looks like looking like Dustin Hoffman in Tootsie, she's the casting director for Marvel, and she basically confirms that the only reason they cast the kid they cast to play not Wiccan was because he was gay, which is illegal. She said we did want to cast that role authentically, but then she realizes what she says and she backtracks. She goes, let's also be honest, this is a character who is a teenager, so this is not a question we're going to ask teenagers to come out and have to answer. It was just more about, here's the character, we're looking to cast it authentically, please submit an audition and we're going to take it from there. I mean, look, I also do agree that this kid probably came in for the audition and you were like, gay.
To quote my old college roommate, that kid's about as queer as a $3 bill.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think I said in the pro show, I was like, what was their first clue when he came in, the fire alarms went off? Like, good Lord. But there was a bit, so moving away from Agatha for a moment, we need
if he does an interview, he needs an intro video, and his intro video should be the Johnny Storm rap from the Fantastic Four cartoon. I flame on and on and on and on. I flame on and on and on and on.
Good Lord. Well, Johnny Storm now is banging weird worm aliens with a
I don't want to talk about it. Don't make me talk about it.
I figured you didn't want to. So I know we've got a couple of more super chats to get to, just a few. We got two. John JID 999 for $1.99 says, "Will the new Potter show follow one book per season?" Trish,
I think it's supposed to. Yeah,
it is. Yes, it will. Trish, I gotta tell you, I started rereading Philosophers. I was picking up a friend from the airport. And while I was waiting for them to get through customs because they're from the UK, I started listening to the audiobook of Philosopher's Stone, and I forgot how rich that story is outside of the movies. Like just the first scene alone, the Privet Drive scene alone with Dumbledore and McGonagall outside, I'm like, there's so much more depth to this scene than there was in the movie. And you got to think we're going to get more time with this scene. They name drop Sirius Black. Like I
forget that they don't put that in the movie, but his name is dropped within like the first 5 pages of the book or something.
Yeah, Hagrid mentions it because Hagrid shows him on the motorcycle and he goes, I got this from young Sirius Black.
When I went back and read, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
When I went back and read, I noticed something about her writing style, at least in the first book. Have any of you read much Kurt Vonnegut, like Breakfast of Champions and stuff like that? Whenever she's writing from the Dursleys' perspective, it's very much like something Kurt Vonnegut or maybe Roald Dahl would write. Yeah, and it's pretty interesting the way she switches from this narrative about, like, as if she's describing the regular world to magical people, and she's describing really mundane things that we all take for granted.
Yeah,
I have looked and I've never seen anybody ask her, "Hey, were Vonnegut and Dahl influences for you?" Nobody ever asked her that. I'd love to hear that.
Now you got me wondering.
You should tweet that at her and see if she responds. She's responded to me. So, the one thing I've noticed about her writing though is she's the queen of just like, at least in the first book, because everyone's first book is a little bit weaker, but she just lays it all out there. When Dumbledore shows up, she gets right into. She was like, this guy showed up and he had this color hair and he had this there and his nose was this and his name was Albus Dumbledore. Like, instead of just kind of like weaving that into the narrative, she just kind of like stops to describe the person and lays it completely out. Now, that's only in the first chapter. In the second one, when she's describing Harry, it's a lot more elegantly done, I could say. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this now that I've started reading that, because it's fantastic. I've only gotten even up to the chapters where the letters are coming in. So
you're still early on.
I think Dudley and Aunt Petunia are supposed to be blonde.
They are.
Like, by the way, whoever plays Dudley, they better put that kid in a fat suit, because I want a Dudley that is actually the size of a baby killer whale.
If you read the later books, he's described more muscular than fat,
because he gets into boxing.
Yeah. And my reading of the books as well, Vernon is himself a big guy, not just a fat guy. He's just big. Yeah, like a big construction worker guy.
Yeah.
John JID 999 for $1.99 also says, when Agatha fails, quote, "It wasn't gay, you're all just phobes." And that's exactly what it's going to be. They're already lining up that defense for when this show fails. Leslie Headland was like, the lesbians? What lesbians? LC Killer 17, Anna Kendrick is my little boo-boo bear for $2. Thank you very much.
She's one of my favorite things in the Twilight movies. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah,
she's hysterical in those. Yeah,
I don't think I have a favorite thing from the Twilight movies except for the ending credits.
Mine is that Renesmee like puppet that they did not use, that they wanted putting a CGI baby in, but they first made this like nightmare fuel puppet. Hysterical.
Really? I know that
the CG baby is also pretty nightmare fuel.
It's completely different nightmare fuel. I'm gonna see. I'll find a picture.
I know that I reference them a lot, but Riff Tracks does all the Twilight movies, and it makes them enjoyable.
My favorite.
Oh God, those movies are so funny.
My favorite scene in the first Twilight movie is the closing credits. because it meant that the movie was done, and then I never watched another one of them after that.
There's a Bruno
yeah.
Mars song in one of them. It's not a great Bruno Mars song, but it's there.
My wife dragged me to the one where Kristen Stewart is crying and screaming for some reason because Robert Pattinson left her or whatever. And I was laughing so hard every time she screamed that my wife dragged me from all Twilight movies.
Oh, I was like, shut up. Like, she just kept going. Get over it. He's annoying anyway.
It
All
seemed
right,
like
so-
she was in physical pain over a breakup.
Ugh. Okay, wait, I'm going to send this. This is also my avatar on Discord. I'm not even going to lie.
Oh,
I don't know if
boy.
you want to share
Oh,
that or
boy.
not, but if anyone has not seen what is so fondly called as Chuck Esme, because
Oh my god!
Wait, where did you put it?
I put it in the
Oh, you put it. Oh,
private
you put it in the
chat.
private chat.
So
put
if
it in
you,
the private-
yeah, if you want
Oh,
to, it's fantastic. I love it. It's my
what the
Share it.
hell is that?
Share it, Mom. Share it.
I can hear it say, "This house is clean."
What is that
Look at it.
thing?
Look at it. It's fantastic.
Why does it look at me like that? Why
I
does it
think
look
the
sad
actors
yet at
were
the
like-
same time scheming?
I think the
Have
actors
that
were like,
thing
"This
say-
is creepy. We don't want it."
maybe have
You're
that
funny.
thing say like Zeke the plumber or whatever you were saying earlier.
Oh no, oh, Nolan, what have you done?
Oh,
You crossed the
Oh.
streams, Nolan.
All right, we have got a oh,
LC killer. Jesus Christ.
by the way, I'm trying to. I think Martin in our Teen Titans lineup would have to be Red Arrow. I don't know why, but it makes sense to me. Because I think that makes Lorne Kid Flash, and I really like that idea. Because you've already decided I'm Robin, Trish is Raven, Kevin is obviously Cyborg, Nolan is Beast Boy.
Racist.
Because if you painted if you painted Nolan green, he'd be Beast Boy, and Spencer is Starfire. So, and Spencer has agreed that he's Starfire. All right, we've got a Disney. Everybody look going Shogi's like, why?
That's nightmare
we've
fuel. That's
traumatized
terrifying.
the chat.
And
Blame
I said, I'm
Trish.
so happy I shared it.
Against all odds, it's like, what did I just show up to?
I'm so happy I shared
You know
it.
what? If you don't want to see it again, you better start dropping some super chats.
If we don't make $20 in the next hour, it's going back up.
We're putting Renesmee back up.
You're going to see it in your dreams.
The little
All
double
right.
chin. Yes, the little double chin. Thank
Oh,
you, John
no.
JID. Yeah.
Oh God,
JPS's
that,
chat there.
oh, dear
um,
God, what was that thing?
Yeah, Little Princess Bride there. I love it.
Oh
love it.
man. All right, so on to our next story. This is actually a pretty big story that dropped today. So Jared Bush has been named the Walt Disney Animation Studios chief creative officer, while Jennifer Lee is returning to filmmaking with Frozen 3 and 4, aka Jennifer Lee, you're fired. But we let her pretend that it was her choice because she just has to go back and tell Elsa's story. That's why she gives up the power, the office, the money to make one of her subordinates into her boss now, because she just has to go back and tell the story of Anna and Elsa to the masses. So as Disney readies the sequels to its uber-grossing $1.75 billion Frozen franchise, Walt Disney Animation Studios Chief Creative Officer Jennifer Lee. Now, Jennifer Lee is the architect of Disney's failures recently. She has been, if you've hated Disney animation in the last several years, Jennifer Lee is the person that you have to blame for it. Everything post Raya and the Last Dragon, pretty much, right? Martin, am I right on that? That's when John Lasseter got fired.
I think so, and I think even he was a bit hands off on Raya.
She wrote Wish. I know that.
Oh,
So I think she also wrote Raya, but I did actually like Raya.
Nolan.
She's segueing from her position to direct and write Frozen 3 and executive produce Frozen 4 with Mark Smith. Effective immediately, Oscar-winning Encanto filmmaker Jared Bush has been named CCO of Walt Disney Animation Studios, reporting to Disney Entertainment co-chairman Alan Bergman. Lee has served as CCO for the division since 2018. 30-year Disney veteran and Oscar-winning producer Clark Spencer continues as president, Walt Disney Animation Studios. So we have a quote here. Jared Bush is an incredible filmmaker and a talented executive who's been a prominent creative force at Disney Animation for the past decade, and I am thrilled that he'll be taking the reins of this storied studio, Bergman said. I also want to thank Jennifer Lee for her passionate leadership of the studio over the past several years. She's made an indelible mark on both Disney Animation and the industry. I think that's true. That might be a little more true than they want to believe. I know she has so many more stories to tell, and there is truly no one better suited to oversee the continuation of the beloved story of Frozen. Guys, nobody leaves an executive role to go direct Frozen. I'm sorry. Martin, am I wrong?
I don't think you're wrong. And I just looked it up. Guys like Louis B. Mayer, Jack Warner, or Mayer actually, but Jack Warner never directed a movie. He ran a movie studio.
Yes.
Why on earth are you promoting creatives into executive roles like that? That's ridiculous. Promote people who run businesses into those roles.
That's what everyone who's like, Dave Filoni should be the head of Lucasfilm. I'm like, no, he doesn't know how to run a studio. Favreau wouldn't even know what to do. They're not producers. They're creatives. If you're going to be chief creative officer, that's one thing. Chief creative officer is a creative position. I get wanting to put the person that came up with Frozen in that position because Frozen was such a moneymaker, but man, oh man, right now I'd rather have the guy that made Encanto than the lady who made Wish.
Oh, and I know what I said sounds ridiculous when you consider this is the Walt Disney Company and Walt Disney was a creative, but Roy Disney ran the business. Walt was the idea guy who was out there promoting the brand and coming up with great ideas. Roy was the guy, the brother, who had to figure out how to finance the darn things.
Yeah. And, Roy's practicality was sometimes, it butted heads with Walt's dreaming because the theme parks. Roy said, we are absolutely not sinking money into building a theme park. And Walt was like, fine, I'll go do it myself. And Walt financed the whole thing himself out of his own pocket. And then Roy came around when he saw how profitable it was. All right. So, said Bush, I am so deeply grateful to Bob Iger and Alan Bergman for their faith in me and thankful to Jennifer for her leadership and for her generous support as she embarks on the next chapter of Frozen. Disney Animation is home to some of the greatest stories and characters of the past century, and I'm so excited to work with all of our filmmakers, artists, and Disney Animation team members as we shape the future of this legendary studio together. Ready for Jennifer Lee's quote?
Yeah.
Bring it on.
I am so grateful to Bob and Alan for supporting my decision to return to filmmaking full time. Every day working with them is a masterclass in creativity, business, community, and integrity. I've always believed in Jared's incredible talent and can't wait to see, with his passion and dedication to animation, what he brings to the CCO role. For me, getting to collaborate with the studio of artists, animators, and storytellers is such a privilege, and I look forward to all we'll create together. Now, guys, did Jennifer Lee actually write this quote, or was this handed to her when she was fired? And so this is the statement that you're about to make.
Handed.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
It was my decision to read this piece of paper that's been handed to me, telling me what my decision is.
When Jennifer Lee was asked recently, because Walt Disney Animation is a far cry from what it used to be in the past, and somebody asked her, if you could meet Walt Disney and ask him one question, what would it be? And her answer was, how are the girls?
Well, he did love his daughters, that's for sure.
Meaning, how are your daughters? So she basically was saying there is not one question about running Walt Disney Animation that she would ask Walt Disney. Not one. There's nothing Walt Disney could possibly teach Jennifer Lee, the woman who oversaw the creation of Wish, who has lost. Now, these Pro did a recent thing where he pointed out, in order to make a profit, these Disney films, animated films, need to gross about $500,000.
Million?
Yes, million.
I was
500
going to say
million.
500,000. They should be able to do that.
Sorry.
And
These movies have to gross at least $500 million to be profitable.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's just lunacy.
yeah, somebody needs to impose some cost controls.
Well, hopefully that'll be what happens with Jared Bush. Now, Jared, I like Encanto. I think Encanto is a great film, and you know, if the creative mind behind that wants to give it a whirl as the chief creative officer, they, you know, can't do much worse than what Jennifer Lee did.
Could you imagine if like movie studios were like, you know, with sports, you know, where you have the big neon signs, you know, that have like the scoreboards? Because if this was like a sports game, it'd be basically the equivalent of like someone with 2 wins talking about the all-time greats and being like, yeah, oh, they don't know anything about it. And it's obvious that they suck because everybody sees how well they perform week to week. If they were more transparent of these movies, I would like to know how much money she has lost for this company compared to the profit margins of when Walt was still around, because this is an embarrassment to the company.
Yeah.
The geeky business guy in me wants to say, I want a war rating for business executives. Baseball people understand, wins above replacement. You know, it's a way to compare. Is this shortstop really better than all these other people? Is he worth the money that you're paying him? By trying to figure out, all right, the next best person, how many more wins can you get with this guy? I'd like to see the same sort of rating for executives, like published in Forbes.
Oh yes,
agreed.
Now I'm trying to find a list of all the movies that she has. So she's had the role since 2018. So let me look at Disney animation releases since 2018. Now, like. Right, list of Disney's theatrical animated film features, and let's hope they just break this down by year. Okay, they do. So let's go with 2018. She has overseen Incredibles 2's Pixar. Hold on. Ralph Breaks the Internet, which, but by the way, the 2018 ones were not produced under her. So probably let's go ahead to like 2020. That is Onward was Pixar, Raya and the Last Dragon, Ron's Gone Wrong, that's 20th Century Animation, Encanto, Strange World, which is one of the biggest financial bombs of all time, Wish, which is another one of the biggest financial bombs of all time, Soul, Turning Red, Luca.
Oosh.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Soul, Turning Red, and Luca are Pixar. And then Moana 2 is going to be coming out. Mufasa is going to be coming out, and that is, you know, Walt Disney. It should be Walt Disney Animation Studio because it's an animated film, which they are finally admitting, by the way. Did you hear that?
Yeah. That's live action.
Yeah. So there you go. Jennifer Lee on the outs, no longer the head of Walt Disney Animation Studios. Now, do you guys think this is going to actually change anything, or do you think the problem lies beyond Jennifer Lee? Kevin,
problem all goes back to the top, which is Mr. Bob Iger himself.
Bob, I want to be President Iger. The no, this is an institutional problem. You know, you can chop off a couple of branches, but when the tree is rotted from the inside out, there's no helping it. And then even then, what, you're gonna still have to wait another 2 years before you see any mild improvement, maybe 3 coming out of this coming out of the studio, because God only knows what they have coming down the pike. And they're not going to just toss all that stuff to the side. Yeah. I don't know. As long as Bob Iger sits atop the throne that he has turned Disney into his own personal play palace, I don't think you're going to get any significant change anyway.
As long as he has his office with the shower. Go ahead, Martin.
I think that Iger turned up the heat on DEI and overclocked the whole company. You know, buying Fox and everything. He put it on steroids. I think he did all that to make a huge splash when he announced he was going to run for president. Mm-hmm. And then in the time between when he decided he was going to retire and when a real political move could possibly be made, his opportunity vanished on him, and now he can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he ruined Disney by being so short-sighted about the things he wanted personally.
Mhm.
What do you guys think is Bob Iger's end goal by all this? Because he's in late stage billionaire now where it's all about legacy. And he's completely tarnished his legacy that he had made over all that time. Well, or at least rode on the success of other people, to be honest, as we know now. But like, you got to think now, he's got to at least consider he stepped back into the role. So he has to know, logically speaking, that they're on a low point right now, even if he keeps making bad decisions. What does he want to do? Because he has to have like a passion project, kind of like with Eisner was with Disneyland France, you know? Like, there has to be something he wants to go out and be remembered for. He's probably scheming something, but I wonder what that is.
I think he wanted to transform this rinky-dink little family company into a major multimedia conglomerate.
Well, what is the one thing we all know that Bob Iger hates hearing more than anything in the world is, well, at Disney, we do it like this.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone that has ever tried to tell him that got fired.
Yeah, and he's an ABC guy. He
that's just the way it
perceives himself. Sorry, go ahead. I think I was
no.
Yeah.
No,
he's an
ahead.
ABC guy, and he perceives himself as ABC News in particular. Because weather's under news.
Right.
Oh, and I should say this. I don't think a person should be reduced to some punchline of a job. Like when people dismiss a member of the House of Representatives because they parked cars or they were a bartender or they were this or that. That's ridiculous. Let's not do those things. And Bob Iger was a weatherman. That's fine, but we shouldn't reduce him to the weatherman. It's a fine job.
But I feel like Bob Iger would be the first person to do that to somebody else.
Yes, I absolutely.
Weren't there reports that he
absolutely
there were reports that he did stuff like that to Bob Chapek?
Oh yeah, that story about him at the party.
He called him the Hoosiers or something like that, which I still take offense to.
I'm itching for the day where Chapek's non-disclosure runs out so we can get the other side of the story, because he's been extremely gracious. I mean, we talked about it. I talked about it with Marvel all the time before it was painfully obvious that the man was set up to fail. The COVID hit, and all of a sudden Iger retires, and then it's all going to poop. And I'm not going to be the boss, but I'm also not leaving my office. I'm keeping my desk, and the boss will report to me. Okay, hey, look, I'm going to take over because your boss just did everything I told him to do anyway, and I'm going to say he did it wrong, even though this is all my idea.
Mm-hmm.
You were the patsy. Oswald got locked up. I'm here to take my spot back.
Absolutely. And the New York Times just did a whole hit piece on Bob Iger about exactly this, about exactly what happened and what you're talking about. So that is oh goodness, are we frozen?
I think so.
Can you guys hear me?
I can now.
Hear you.
Okay, good.
Yes.
You sound like Soundwave.
All right, you can hear me now. I opened up a bunch. I opened up a bunch of new windows for stories that we have to do, and my computer did not like that very much. Do I still sound like Soundwave, or am I better now?
No, you're better.
Sound good now.
You're better now. But
all right, I wanted to make
satanic baby doll.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that I wanted to make sure that I sounded good when I bring on our next panelist, the one and only Lauren Connor.
Lauren.
Hi, guys. I love that when Lauren shows up, we all act like Norm walked into Cheers.
1000% why I do it.
Yep, I love it. I love that. That's a thing. Lauren, how you doing tonight?
No, I'm still above ground. How's everybody else?
Oh my God,
doing well.
Lauren.
Doing well. Lauren, what are your opinions on the Jennifer Lee situation with her being clearly asked to leave Disney Animation?
I apparently have missed something. I don't know.
Oh, sorry. I thought you saw it. I thought you saw it earlier in the day when we were talking about it. Jennifer Lee has been replaced by Jared Bush as the chief creative officer of Disney Animation, and she will now be making Frozen 3 and 4, directing and producing.
What do we know
So
about her?
essentially, she was fired, and they're letting her save face by being like, "This was my decision." She's been the author of things like Wish and Strange World, and she's basically led the studio down the path of ruin.
Well, I mean, it sounds like a good decision then, but I obviously
it
haven't
was.
followed this as much as you guys have, so I can't say that I have an informed opinion, but if she's responsible for the direction that things have been going, then I think it's a good sign that they're shuffling her out. What do we know
Absolutely.
about her replacement?
He made
He directed
Encanto.
Encanto.
Yeah.
Encanto? Ah, okay. All right, gotcha.
So
Okay, well,
one of their biggest successes in the last while. But then Jennifer Lee was the one who I believe directed the first Frozen, or she was heavily involved at least. I wrote it or something. I don't know.
well, the interesting thing about Encanto for me was that if I remember correctly, it ended up being kind of a sleeper hit. It didn't really come out the gates roaring, but once it hit streaming, it steadily increased in viewership until it became kind of a hit.
It was a big box office bomb, and then it was a Disney Plus hit. It was
and I think it became a Disney Plus hit based on TikTok videos of people singing that Bruno song.
Yeah, but I mean,
Probably.
honestly, that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you've got something that has that kind of viral quality to it, something like an earworm or something that catches the audience's attention, I like the fact that sometimes you can go back and find a gem where maybe it wasn't recognized that way in the first place. I think the movie I would point to that I always think about when we're talking about Disney and that kind of thing is Pete's Dragon, which I don't think gets nearly as much attention as it should. I loved that movie as a kid, and it was all about the music.
Didn't they do a live action remake of that one?
They did. Robert Redford's in it.
Yeah, it was not. It didn't stand up to the original.
Hey, go back and listen to that song that Pete sings to the dragon, Elliot. It's clearly written as a bedroom song.
That's interesting.
It's creepy.
All right, are you guys ready to move on to our next topic?
Just ruining Pete's Dragon retroactively for me as a kid.
Well, you still have the "We Got a Bill of Sale" and one of the best Disney songs of all time, "Candle on the Water." Helen Reddy.
All right, moving on, sharing the screen for our next story, and it's back.
This is why you super chat people.
Look at this queen. Look at her.
I told you.
God.
Raise the baby up. This is amazing.
I'm just going to leave it there for a while.
What
Lauren,
is this?
Just explain to Lauren what this is, because this was your cockamamie idea.
Honey Boo Boo reboot.
What?
He's just being... In Twilight, when it was time for them to show Edward and Bella's baby, they initially did this with this like creepy animatronic. And I think the people on the set were like, this is terrifying. We can't work with this. So they wound up making a CGI baby, but it like got out what the animatronic looked like. And it's like my favorite thing in the world. Look at that thing.
It got out is not the right phrase to use with that.
By the way, I love that this is the baby that the werewolf with the six-pack was supposed to look at and become infatuated with.
Which let's not. The newborn who was alive like an hour and he's imprinting. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
Behold, gaze upon it.
Oh my god.
So creepy.
All right. So, we need to talk a bit about an old friend. Someone we haven't talked about in a couple weeks, but Beau DeMayo has accused Marvel and Disney of egregious prejudicial misconduct on both X-Men 97 and Blade. So he is obviously the executive producer and creator of X-Men 97, accused Marvel and Disney of all of this. He was fired on the eve of X-Men 97's premiere in March, but the studio declined to comment on the reasons. We talked about the reasons on this show. He was apparently sending pictures of himself to staff to use as, inspiration.
To staff or of staff?
To staff. Pictures of himself.
Think about it for a minute.
Face. Look at that face. That
Lauren.
I saw right away, Lauren. I knew.
I just got it. He says these allegations of egregious misconduct are false. Now, by the way, the video that they're referencing here Nothing says I wasn't inappropriate with my staff and I didn't make people look at naked pictures of me quite like making people go to get this story on your OnlyFans page.
Right.
And that's what Beau DeMayo did.
I never did anything inappropriate. I'll tell you on my OnlyFans page.
Yeah.
Did Spencer ever have to do that research?
You know,
I don't know if he ever did. I don't know. We said that he was the one that had to.
you know that if he ever cosplayed as Donatello or as a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, it would have to be Donatello.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was sharing the screen this whole time, and apparently I wasn't because I was trying to get that.
Probably a good thing you're not.
Yeah. So he says the allegations of egregious misconduct are false, adding that rumors of the nature of his alleged misconduct that have been floated on various sites and podcasts are lies. They are offensive, DeMayo continues on his offensive subscription-only website. But more concerning is that they're a smear campaign designed to discredit my credibility in order to cover up egregious prejudicial misconduct stretching from select crew members on X-Men 97 all the way to the top of Marvel Studios. So I'm assuming he's insinuating Feige there. He also alleges that he both experienced and witnessed misconduct while working on X-Men 97 in his capacity as showrunner and during a brief stint as the screenwriter on the long-in-the-works feature film Blade. A spokesperson from Marvel Studios did not respond to a request for comment. He also said the breaches in his exit agreement were posts he made about X-Men 97 during its run, including posting fan art, speaking at screenings of the show at a bar, highlighting the different cast and crew, and explaining how the massacre at the LGBT nightclub Pulse in 2016 was one of the main inspirations for the Genosha episode of the series. He was not permitted to go to the Emmys. Disney blocked him from that. He also claimed that he just has not stopped talking since this has happened. He just claimed the other day that Beau DeMayo claims Disney asked him to make Professor X and Magneto, quote, less gay. I don't think Disney is asking anyone to make anything less gay right now. I don't know.
Well, you did see the story about Inside Out, too.
Inside Out, yeah. But look, at the end of the day, they made him make it less gay, and then everyone liked the show. So, as per Beau DeMayo, higher officials instructed him to make the characters of Professor X and Magneto less gay. The renowned writer and producer disclosed his claims on X while sharing a similar report involving Inside Out 2. DeMayo stated heard the same words, less gay, on X-Men 97 when it came to Magnus and Xavier, as well as marketing. The update comes after several sources reported that Disney adopted a likened approach with the Inside Out 2 characters, Riley and Val. Because, yeah, God forbid there'd be no gayness in our things. Wow, that came out wrong. Beau DeMayo also reveals the Blade movie pitch we never saw. The movie was announced at San Diego Comic-Con 2019 with Oscar winner Mahershala Ali taking the stage to confirm he would star. So let's see. Let's get down to where he actually said. Beau DeMayo had several ideas for the Blade movie. He was abruptly fired from the X-Men Revival series, obviously. Maintained that he had been let go to do the gay pride post. Okay, we know all this. Responding to unconfirmed reports that Blade could be shelved or put on hold momentarily, DeMayo took to Twitter X to share his thoughts on the ongoing debacle. The former X-Men 97 EP seemed incredulous at the news, writing, I don't get why it's been so hard. Pretty sure that's what... Never mind, I'm not going to make that joke. Before suggesting that the key to setting things straight, I'm sure no pun intended, was to take a John Wick movie, give mobsters fangs, swap Keanu for Ali, hand him a sword, not a daughter who makes him fret over swinging the hero's name. It's not necessarily a bad idea, though surely the Blade character has been around in the comics for long enough and is more than capable of carrying his own movie without trying to emulate Keanu's relentless assassin. But much more intriguing was DeMayo's next idea, a raid-style treatment, which he wrote would have essentially seen the Daywalker defending a rundown tenement of humans from vamp hordes until daylight. I would love a Blade movie that's basically the Raid Redemption.
They stole that from us. We talked about that here first.
Yeah, didn't we? I was going to say, that sounds really familiar.
It's also kind of dread.
Yeah.
Oh,
Beau DeMayo has also claimed that Marvel pushed back against darkening Storm and Sunspot's skin.
Why would you darken Sunspot's skin?
I don't know.
Cancer.
Much has been said about Storm being whitewashed on screen. Even Dark Phoenix star Alexandra Shipp has shared her hope for a darker-skinned actress to play. Why does this matter?
It's again. This is.
Why are you hating on my girl Halle Berry?
This is the petulant narcissism of these privileged babies who have no actual problems and have to project their insecurities on innocent people. We are not the crazy ones, you blithering buffoons. Let us just enjoy things.
Who was sitting there thinking about this? So according to DeMayo, the X-Men 97 crew and I fought hard to have Storm's skin tone darker and more accurate to her heritage versus X-Men the animated series. Marvel noted that if we're being so accurate about her skin color, then Storm shouldn't have white hair either. These sort of microaggressive notes are designed to domino backwards to kill the initial idea, as Marvel knows we're not changing Storm's hair color. He then added, then came the usual racist, well, if Storm's too dark, we won't be able to see her in nighttime or dark scenes. We went ahead and did it anyway. Turns out there's a thing in animation called lighting.
Hold on, Beau. I need pictures of the Post-it. You've got to have receipts if you're going to throw that out there.
Yeah, for real.
That's kind of why everything that he's saying is so dumb. He's saying that all of this is a lie about the allegations about him. And if that's so, then presumably they actually have evidence of the photos that were shared. I mean, I can't believe that seems like an easily disprovable claim. I don't think he's wrong about the things that we're talking about when it comes to what you should do with Blade. But this kind of nonsense, we dealt with this back in Star Trek 66 with let this be their last battlefield. You know, this is the dumbest kind of thing to be arguing about in 2024.
But Lauren, someone has to do the research and see those original photos. Does anyone have the guts to actually do that?
No.
Well, you could argue that people were already volunteered. They're the ones who were making the complaint.
He did note that in the most squirmy way possible, he didn't send any pictures to his direct reports.
Yes. Yeah, he was very, very cagey about that. And by the way, his whole thing now is just to attack Disney. Just constantly attack. Never mind the fact that, there are these egregious, that he says are lies, but he's trying to make everyone forget what they're saying about him. He later addressed one of X-Men 97's biggest controversies, which apparently I had never heard of, the apparent whitewashing of Afro-Brazilian character Robert DaCosta, a.k.a. Sunspot. DeMayo was heavily criticized for that before the show's release and even left social media for a time due to the backlash. Now, though, he says finally can address this. Marvel insisted he be Latino. I did push to darken his skin to reflect his Afro-Brazilian heritage, but was given a flat-out no. DeMayo has said he's doing an AMA later this week and also started taking interviews with some YouTube channels, so we're sure he'll have more to say very soon.
Can we get him
as a guest on the show?
Oh my God, could you imagine? I don't think we'd be able to. Kevin, you're muted if you tried to say something there. I saw your mouth move, but
we need Beau DeMayo. I need this.
Because you just want to yell at him.
No, first, it's an HR trick. You let them tell you everything. You let them vent their soul. I will sit down I'll sit down Indian style and just stare like I am a kid seeing Santa Claus for the first time. I want to bask in this lunacy. I just let it all out. And then I would just ask for the receipts. But because it's I understand
someday when the channel's big enough, we'll have to have Beau DeMayo.
I understand what he's doing. He knows that they kind of have him dead to rights. So he has to paint the culture in Disney as something so toxic that he was a victim of the environment, because what's going on there is worse.
He was victimizing people, so he has to now make himself the victim by making Disney the bad guy, because it's easier for Disney as a faceless, organization to be considered the villain over poor, LGBT POC Beau DeMayo.
LGBT POC. Beau DeMayo.
Furthermore, Beau DeMayo said, "Ah,
Marvin!"
sorry, sorry, I had to do it. I had to do it one more time. Just I can't.
Ask Beau DeMayo what he thinks of this.
Yeah, you're like, what do you think of that, Beau DeMayo? Was this part of
All
your
I should
blade
hear-
pitch?
All I should hear are positive things because it's amazing.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you want
right.
to really be creeped out by this picture? Imagine
I
that
already
thing
am.
chewing gum.
Oh Lord, why would you do that? Now it's going away for good.
I just keep thinking of that alien baby and alien Romulus, and now I'm picturing that baby instead. I'm even more terrified.
Oh my
A
God.
little
That
bit off
Renesmee
topic.
thing is like my legacy everywhere. So
Hmm.
go ahead.
I said a little bit off topic, but can any of you imagine Lou Wasserman's ghost dealing with modern Hollywood HR?
Oh God.
Yes,
Oh,
I
I would
can.
love. I would.
I can't
yeah.
imagine it.
I can't even imagine what modern Hollywood HR is like. How many sensitivity trainings Lou would have to go to?
It's like a Chinese struggle session.
Oh man. All right. One of our final stories for this week is we don't like to talk video games here very often, but this seems pretty egregious, and it's a game that is very near and dear to mine and Kevin's hearts. Is Dragon Age: The Veilguard character creator has an option for top surgery scars.
Lord, just shaking his head.
So Dragon Age, by the way, again, I thought I was sharing and I wasn't. Dragon Age is a game series created by BioWare, the makers of Mass Effect. And I love this series with all my heart and soul. I've played every game in it. I was very much looking forward to this. Kevin and I have been waiting over a decade for this game to come out. Originally, it was called Dread Wolf. And they just let these activists in there and they infected it. And now we've got top surgery scars on a created character.
I think it's important to give the percent of a voice in these things.
Yeah. You know, especially in a medieval fantasy world, people are having top surgery.
I like to think of it as people who were victims of the Vikings. Just cut into their chests.
Yes. Back in July, it was revealed by Game Informer's Wesley LeBlanc, who previewed the character creator. They revealed it had inclusivity at its heart. He wrote, "At the heart of it is inclusivity. Veilguard game director Corinne Bush tells me before letting me guide her through creating my own character." He went on to reveal that the character creator allows players to choose between 4 different races: elves, Kunari, humans, and dwarves. It also allows for more detailed looks at each and the ability to choose pronouns with she, her, he, him, and they, them separately from gender, select different body types, and more. Furthermore, the character creator also features full nudity because the game is a mature RPG, according to Bush, who is someone who claims to be something that, you know, they were not born as.
I'm sorry. According to who?
According to the game director.
What's
Apparently,
the name? I missed it. The last name. I missed it. I'm sorry. What is it?
Bush.
La Bouche.
Apparently, full nudity is needed to choose your character's undergarments. LeBlanc also revealed you can finally dye your hair with non-traditional colors. Oh boy,
Ooh.
you always could. I could make
You know
purple
what?
hair. I can make purple hair in the last game. What the
I
heck are they
guess-
talking about?
That's true. Well, I guess I can enjoy swinging an axe at the first blue-haired person I see and not go to jail for it.
He concluded, revealing there are 4 voices that one can choose from. They include English masculine, English feminine, American masculine, and American feminine. The pitch of the voices can also be adjusted. It has also been revealed by multiple YouTubers that the character creator does include pronouns and allows players to select man, woman, or non-binary for gender. On top of this, it's been revealed that the character creator features an option to toggle top surgery scars. It is. So that's what's happening. That is
I
what's
went
happening.
to
here.
art school or programming school for years to create a toggle for top surgery scars.
When I think of medieval fantasy, the very first thing that I think about is complex surgery.
Yeah. Now, okay, so now here's the thing. My thing on this is it is a created character. They are not forcing you to do this. So I'm more okay with it in that regard. If I can create a masculine male character that does the things that I want them to do, then I'm fine. As long as these things are not like pushed on me and I'm forced to play them, I have no problem with them being there. It's just a matter of whether or not you're going to have to actually like what is the actual gameplay going to be like?
The act
Marvin,
of it
I would-
being there. I'm sorry, go ahead, Lauren.
I would normally agree with you. And if this was a science fiction game, I would totally agree with you. But this is stupid. I don't care. I'm always there when you say, give me options. Fine. All the options that you want, as long as it makes some kind of narrative sense. There's a comment here that Project Cambrian said that in a medieval fantasy game where healers don't wash their hands or have sterolytics or anesthesia, that's exactly the point. You have magic, but if you have magic and you're going to use magic as the explanation, why are there scars?
And, you know, and I agree with him here. He says, no, give them an inch, they take a mile. I do agree with that as well. Now, Kim Belair, the CEO of Sweet Baby Inc., which is, you know, essentially the devil made human flesh, she said in an interview that her whole thing about Sweet Baby Inc. started when she played Mass Effect 2, because she was playing as a black female. And the first person you encounter is Jacob, and he is a black male. And she was like, oh my goodness, the fact that I could be a black female talking to a black male in a AAA video game with no white people around. But it made her sad because not everyone was forced to have that interaction, because it was a game where you choose to create your own character, which is why she created Sweet Baby Inc. to then, you know, influence the narrative of games going forward. I believe that choice in video games is a wonderful thing. I truly, truly do. I love Mass Effect. I loved the Dragon Age games that came before this. I know Kevin and I are both getting this game. I would love for us to do a video both here and on that game place about it, because yeah, this is interesting. But it's gonna be interesting to see, Kev, how it happens, because BioWare might be going down in flames after this, because according to this, Dragon Age the Veilguard retail pre-order sales are, quote, piss poor, according to this report from that marketplace. By the way,
You know, that's what I was going to get to.
Yeah, Kev, this is what a Canary looks like now, by the way.
Yeah. Everybody saw that trailer after we saw the original mega fantastical awesome trailer,
right?
And then we watched the entire development team get axed, and then we got this CW lifetime participation trophy version of the game, and no one's happy about it. The only reason I'm not canceling my pre-order is because I have a feeling that this bomb will be so fantastical that the physical copy may actually be worth something later. But I think this is going to be an ET level catastrophe. And if BioWare still exists after this is all said and done, that is unfortunate, because more of these companies need to learn the lesson. Stop letting these untalented, oh, actually, no. They are so, the only thing that's remarkable about these people is how untalented they are. Come into the space, bully everybody around, force a bunch of idiocy that no one asked for, so that these narcissists could pat themselves in the back and smell their own farts, and then just make you spend a bunch of money on crap no one asked for. This game has been in developmental hell, and this is what you're going to give people? This nonsense? This is stupid. Actually, I would rather, what was the name of that? What was the name of that fantasy show on the CW? The Outpost. This looks worse than The Outpost.
I still think it's a matter of whether you have the choice. So
I'm gonna call BS on that, because the fact that they put it in there, they're forcing it on you. This has not existed at any point in any of the narrative of the games. You could always create whatever character you wanted. It was up to you to use your imagination, like normal freaking people. But instead, you put it in here and you forced it on here in the hopes that some kid is going to jump in there and play, and now we're at the groomer parade.
And in a healthy business, the question is, does every expenditure make net us more units sold than we would without it? And
Yes.
does that make up the cost of adding that option? I don't think this does.
No, probably not.
This
and-
is repellent. I guarantee you, people
Hold on.
who saw this play screen are definitely not going to get it because, like, what is this?
Well, I'm glad right now we are going to now complete the roster of the Tooneytown Titans by bringing on the one and only editor-in-chief of Bounding Into Comics, Mr. Spencer Piccoli.
I'm here! I made it! I'm here!
You made
Hey,
it.
Spencer!
What is going on, my fellow friends?
Oh man, we're talking about Dragon Age, man.
Well, before we talk about Dragon Age, Lauren, did things go well today?
We could,
Depends
that
on-
could be talked about in private. I don't think Lauren
All
needs
right.
to talk about personal business on the air.
I just wanted a yes
but-
or no. I just wanted to hype him up.
But yeah, for Dragon Age, new rumor claims that the Dragon Age the Veilguard retail sales are piss poor in the wake of a newly released hands-on preview trailer that was panned by gamers. The YouTuber Dr. Disaster shared, I have an acquaintance in the retail world, someone who runs 9 stores that sells video games, and I am hearing that these ratios that we're seeing in damn near every video released for Dragon Age the Veilguard, these ratios are correlating with piss poor pre-sale data. People are not connecting with the Veilguard because Dragon Age games are supposed to be dark and gritty, and this just looks completely soft. It does. Craig Gistimas, aka Stuttering Craig, who owns and hosts the Side Scrolls podcast channel, informed that Park Place that his retail source, who previously indicated that pre-order sales for both Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadows pre-orders for Dragon Age the Veilguard are not Astrobot numbers. As of this morning, the deluxe edition of the game was 14th on the PlayStation Store for orders, while the base game was 20th. Now, interesting to note, though, it is still higher than Assassin's Creed Shadows. Spencer, did you note that?
I've heard about it. I don't really put a lot of weight behind physical store pre-orders right now anymore because so many players have more casual players, of course, they've gone to digital. So until we see those numbers, I'm not super convinced. It's not great, obviously, for anybody, but I'm not here. I don't really see it as the doom and gloom herald that everybody wants it to be yet.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said, I understand that the top surgery scars, things like that, it is all ridiculous. I want to be able to see if I can play through a game making my decisions with my character and not encounter any of that. Because if I can, then I'm kind of okay with it more than I would have been, right? Spencer, I feel like you're going to agree with me on that.
Yeah, I do agree, but I also I'm a bit more like I was listening in the back when you guys were talking about the top scars and stuff. Like I'm more like you, Marvin. Like if it's in there and it's optional, it doesn't really bother me. So if I'm playing a game and I come across a character who might be gay or something, unless they're making my character gay or they made some ham-fisted way to throw it in there, I'm not really going to care. I know I'm more blasé about that than a lot of people in our sphere, but to me, like, I think I was kind of with you, Marvin. Like, the more options you have, the better. Yet, like, I don't agree that they're forcing it on you because it's just there. Just like anybody else existing out in the world isn't forcing it on you, even though they're there. You don't have to engage with them. You don't have to do anything. It's there.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see it. We'll see how it ends up looking. I know I'm going to play it. Kev's going to play it.
I'm turned off of it because it looks like a freaking hero shooter, and
I don't love that. I don't love the way it looks.
Kev, like that whole aesthetic is so weird to what Dragon Age was. Like maybe high fantasy at the very least, right? And then all of a sudden you've got sparkle bombs and quipping, and it feels so. We want to be Marvel really, really bad.
Yeah. Kev, you're muted. You muted yourself somehow.
Things the cat. I was gonna say, listen, if you've never played a Dragon Age game, sexuality and all this stuff is in all the games. It's in all the games. But they handle it, or how we used to handle things, really very quite masterfully. The whatever their preferences were, or even what is the character's name? The leader of Bull's Chargers,
Iron Bull.
No, not Iron Bull. His sidekick, Iron Bull's sidekick.
Oh, yes, the one that was trans, right?
Yeah. So it's like it's these like whatever they are, it's incidental to their story because they built a wonderful story around particular characters. So like when you listen, the game has been out for over 10 years, so if you don't want to hear the spoiler, plug your ears. But there you get forced to make a choice. Are you going to sacrifice Iron Bull's people, or are you going to blow a major alliance and rescue his tiny little group of friends? Whichever way has consequences for you later. But like
Big
the only reason that this is a moral quagmire for you is because you actually care about the Chargers by the time you get to this point in the story.
Right.
I have a feeling that we're not getting any of that in this Disney-fied version of Dragon Age. I've got a horrible feeling it's going to be a bunch of ham-fisted nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, that's a valid fear, Kev. I definitely think it is.
Oh yeah, totally valid. Like I'm not disagreeing with that fear there. It was my comment was more about the character creator part of it. Like, yeah, I'm right there with you. It's always a valid fear until we get these things in our hands about, are they going to ham-fist it at us? Are they going to modern audience us, or are they going to like back in the old days us? I have no idea what I was trying to say there. You all know what I'm trying to say there.
I got you.
Now, the next game that I am getting, though, and I have to pre-order it soon, is Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero.
I knew you were going to say that.
They announced the full roster. The full roster's out. I mean, I don't love the fact that the transformations are considered different characters.
I know, it's a little stupid.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Like you and I have talked about how stupid that is, Marvin, but there was something, I learned something today that made me, it at least makes me smile, if not make, like, doesn't make me like the roster move, but it makes me smile. So the total number of fighters in the game, because of all the transformations, is 182. If you go back to the very first Tenkaichi Budokai in the original Dragon Ball episode, like Dragon Ball, when Goku, Krillin, and Master Roshi arrive, Master Roshi says, well, there's about 182 fighters here at this world tournament. So I'm like, oh, that's a neat, I don't know if that was intentional, but that's at least neat.
Are the martial arts tournament fighters from Dragon Ball in the game?
I hope so. I don't think I saw that.
No, you don't get Fan, you don't get what's his name, the Indian dude.
Oh, Nam.
Or when will we get a Dragon Ball fighter that gives us the big smelly giant dude that Krillin beat by not having a nose?
Bacterian.
Yes, there you go. Dang, Marvin outweaved me. What am I even doing here? You don't need me.
When it comes to Dragon Ball, I'm the encyclopedia. But the so we had a super chat earlier, Spencer, that I actually Kevin and I addressed, but I wanted to say for you also.
Yeah.
So KHCDYM93 had asked, what are your thoughts on the current state of Dragon Ball Super and thoughts on if they'll ever finish the show?
All right, let's see. Current thoughts on the state of Super. I've not been a giant fan of Super altogether. It was nice to see like the characters again, kind of like seeing your old friend, like, oh, hey, I know them. Like, nice to see you guys. But then after that, the plot has been sort of really shaky throughout all of Super. It's been very boring, safe, basic, a lot of, we always used to complain back in the Android and Cell Saga days, like, oh, if you're not a Saiyan, you don't matter anymore. Well, in Super, they made that like their thesis statement. So like you get a lot more focus on Goku and Vegeta, which is fine. But I'm also like, I always thought that one of the cool things about Dragon Ball was all the different fighters you would always meet. Like Piccolo was new at one point, Nam was new at one point, Tien, Yamcha, all that stuff. And we don't really get that anymore. It really just focuses on the base crew. I also didn't like that it started and ended with a tournament. Like, come on, guys. Like, what are we really doing here? This was unnecessary, especially when we know, like, who's going to win. The good guys, like, admittedly, it wasn't Goku, which was sort of a surprise, but still, like, we know the good guys are going to win. I really liked the Goku Black arc. I really liked how, I even liked the resolution where it was just like, they can't win. There's no winning here. They finally found an opponent. Who beats this guy? God. That's it. You can only God can beat him.
I thought that the using the Omni King as the Deus Ex Machina there was a cop out. I didn't like that.
So yeah, like, so I bring that up and I know a lot of people do, right? And I don't disagree that it was a cop out. I'm
the Team 4-star guys hate that.
Oh, really? I haven't watched any of their Super stuff. I only watched all their Z stuff. But yeah, so like, it is a cop out, right? Obviously, it's just a snap your fingers, everything's okay again. But I sort of like it because of what I was saying, where leading up to that, Goku Black was just nothing. He was actually terrifying. They could not stop him, and he had every out.
It wasn't even that they snapped their fingers and everything was fine. He destroyed Future Trunks' universe.
That's what he did too. Yeah.
And
he just like wiped it and saved like him and Mai.
I don't remember where they went, but yeah, it was.
Who knows? When it comes to Future Trunks, that timeline is all weird.
do you think they're ever going to actually finish the show? Like, do you think they're going to go?
That's where that's exactly what I was about to get to next. Is I don't actually know, because the problem is there is no source material right now for this for Super. So what I mean by that is that there's no end point. Toriyama didn't write an end. There's no end. This is a brand new original story. So I fear that they're going to turn this into a syndication type thing, right?
For you.
Huh? Oh yeah, hit me.
I do have an answer for you. I can't think of his name, so I apologize. But the Toei, whoever was it, so there's a big rights fight happening right now with Dragon Ball.
It's
which is why things kind of got jammed up. But the person, Toriyama's closest contact on the Toei side, Toriyama trusted him to carry on Dragon Ball, because I guess apparently he was pretty much kind of getting ready to wrap it all up anyway. He handed over the art. He had a bunch of story points he wanted to hit. I have a feeling, whatever he was going to do with Black Refuse, it was going to be like his bowing out.
Oh yeah.
But the guy who's the Toei
Taro?
Toritaro took over the art. I can't think of the other guy who works for Teo. But apparently there is a 10-year plan. He has a 10-year plan in place for Dragon Ball as soon as they can get the rights problem figured out.
I truly don't think that they're going to be able to resist continuing on with the anime. They're definitely gonna.
That's what I was getting at, Marvin. No. Yeah, it's too much of a cash cow for them to stop it.
Morrow, and they gotta get through Daima. I think the reason we haven't gotten anything yet is because they have to do Daima first. Because Daima that's Toriyama's baby. They got to do that. I think that's gonna probably be a one and done kind of thing, and then we can move on with Super. All right,
I'm hoping just to stamp it out. I hope with the release of Sparking Zero, we do start seeing more out of Toei towards the anime production, because I think this is probably taking up all their attention right now. It shouldn't be. Whatever, they're mismanaging a little bit, but this is taking up all of their attention.
Oh, sorry. So the other thing too was for I think what they're talking about for Super was bringing back some of the original DBZ art team to kind of toughen everybody up again. I think there was even scuttlebutt about them rebooting
like the old '90s art style.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good.
I think there was even scuttlebutt about them potentially doing some kind of movie where they reboot Z, or like how they always
you mean potentially canonizing Super Saiyan 5. All right, Dragon Ball AF, it's time.
All right, so moving on to our last story. Oh my god, it's back. Why do you do that to me?
Oh, I hate this thing.
It makes me so happy.
Spencer hadn't seen it yet, so I had to put it up there.
The more you hate it, the more I love it.
What's it? It's like Esme or something?
Renesmee.
Now
That's stupid.
Because you see, Bella's mother's name was Renee, and Edward's was Esme, and she just smushed them together.
This is what happens when you let two high school kids get married.
Teenage girl move I've ever heard in my life.
I come back and I see the freaking baby.
Now imagine that thing chewing gum open mouthed.
You made it worse, Lauren.
I don't want to think about it.
I would not take it.
Does
chewing gum like a cow? Oh my goodness.
I'm just gonna edit this thing into the Sweet Baby Inc. logo. That's what I'm going to do.
Oh, that is sweet. If Sweet Baby Inc. had a Patronus, it would be that thing.
But give it blue hair.
We should animate that thing and make it an avatar on a channel.
I know. Oh my gosh.
Make it a VTuber avatar thing. Yeah.
Everyone's gonna tell me to make it. Everyone's gonna be like, make it a puppet, make it a puppet. And I'm not doing it.
It's my avatar in Discord. I'm not kidding. Like, I love that thing.
Marvin, you should do Trish a favor. You should make whenever you get to where you start having like the stickers, like the chat, like for memberships and stuff. That should be like one of the first stickers on there.
Oh my god, it is your Discord avatar.
See?
I just noticed it. It's always so small that I don't ever see it.
I'll change it from time to time, but I'll eventually just go back to her.
Oh, for the love of God.
My
All right.
14-year-old son asked if he could have a Discord account, and I go, no.
No, because you'll run into
No,
Trish
yeah.
with that avatar.
Hey,
So, all
I'm
right,
not the
moving on.
worst thing on Discord. How dare you?
So we're
that
closing
avatar
out with,
might be.
Yeah,
We are
exactly. It's your avatar, not you.
we are
You hush
closing
up,
out with
Spencer.
Star Wars this week. Rumor: Jon Favreau's plan to save Star Wars with the Mandalorian Grogu film hits a major snag.
Disney owns it.
Well, yeah. besides that. A new rumor claims that director Jon Favreau's plan to save Star Wars from Lucasfilm with the Mandalorian. Now, I don't know if that's actually Jon Favreau's goal here, but we all hope that's his goal. So on the WW Pro show, on the YouTube channel, host WW Pro revealed, quote, the win was going to be get Baby Yoda in there. Cool. And get the original trilogy characters in there because they're what's popular and they know it. Even if it's for a 5-minute cameo, get them in there and get plenty of screen time for Luke as well. I was on this episode, so I remember Pro saying this.
Good.
Then
Put that disclaimer.
Yeah. He then shared that there was a problem with this plan. Folks, we can't confirm this yet, but it comes from a source that has been right over and over and over to the point that it is getting ludicrous. The snag seems to be Harrison Ford, to the surprise of no one. Surprisingly, Harrison Ford, we are told, does not like whatever the plan is. They're already into filming. It was supposed to be CGI, so Ford's not really needed, but he still has to sign off on it. And we're hearing word that he may not be a fan of putting the idea of the original characters together for some sort of CGI resurrection. I don't know if that is the idea of bringing Leia back and what that would mean about Carrie Fisher's legacy. I don't know. None of that detail has been given to us, only that Harrison Ford may not be interested in making this happen the way Favreau had hoped.
The guy wouldn't even grow a mustache. He doesn't play by the rules.
Later during the show, when answering a super chat, Pro provided more details. I'm of the opinion, I think, that they'll work this out. I don't think enough money can be dangled that a lot of issues can be... I think enough money can be dangled that a lot of issues can be resolved. I kind of think you're going to get the original trilogy still together. He added, I just think Harrison Ford is going to require some more cabbage to make that happen. So, guys, what do we... Lauren Connor, what do you think about this? Would you love to see them recreate them with? And are you surprised at Harrison Ford being the Resistance? Go ahead.
I'm going to be honest about this. I don't buy it. I know that Pro has said for a long time that the plan has been to get the original trilogy characters together. He believes that deep in his heart. I think we're way past that working. I think that comes off as, at this point, as just a gimmick, and everybody's going to know it. And I think Ford's instincts are right here. I think he may be thinking a little bit about how Dial of Destiny worked out.
That's what I said.
You know what? Maybe I don't want to be involved with some more CGI plastic-looking kind of youngification here. He's already kind of damaged his legacy, and it would be wise maybe to quit while you're ahead. And I'm wondering if that's what this is about.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. My whole thing on the Pro show, Spencer, you were on that episode with me, right? On
Yeah, I
Tuesday?
was. Yep.
Yeah. You remember I kind of had a little meltdown. I kind of went off a bit because
You
I
did.
said that
Rightfully so.
I was like, they had the chance to do this. They had the opportunity to do this when they were all alive and they were all in a movie together. They were all in The Force Awakens. You had the chance to do this and you didn't do it. So it's too late. I'm sorry. It's too late.
But that's I think you're hitting it, like the main sort of takeaway from this, Marvin, is like, yes, the AI is really bad, and like or like whatever they want to do with it is probably going to be really underhanded. Yes, Harrison Ford, I'm probably with Lauren. I don't know if I particularly buy it. But I think if they're moving forward with this, it is sort of admitting like, oh, we did miss our opportunity and we really want to try and like recreate it. We want to hit it now. And as we all know, like you can't recreate moments, right? Like they come and they go. So this is going to just be more embarrassing for them, because if it happens, if we get 10 years down the road and they release a new movie and there's Rey and she looks over in the corner and there's Han and Leia and Luke and they're all smiling and hugging, everybody's going to go, one, that's really gross that you revived all of them like that. I know Mark Hamill's still alive, but I mean, only physically. But then most people are going to go like, most everyone is going to look at that and go like, you guys, this is you sort of admitting defeat on what you did. And I told you so. We told you so. Everybody's going to walk out of that theater like you, Marvin. I told you so. You had your opportunity. You had your opportunity. I told you so.
If I were Satan, I would say that one way that I could buy this story is if they already know this and they want to put it in there so that they can say when the movie flops that, see, you weren't going to show up anyway. You're not really Star Wars fans. You don't really want the original trilogy characters. That's why we're going off in this new direction. So that's the only way that I really buy them trying to do that.
I would like to see this movie with they bring back the original 3 with Alden Ehrenreich, Sebastian Stan, and they'll probably replace Princess Leia with Zendaya.
No, I was saying that too.
I take it back.
If required,
if Martin were Satan, that's how that would go.
No, I've been
that'd
saying,
be scary.
if you want to do this, just recast. You've got people that can do the roles. If we could have Luke Skywalker and not have Mark Hamill, like, could you imagine how wonderful the world that would be? Like, if it was Sebastian Stan, go ahead, Kev.
But I was saying, yeah, like, listen, I know for some people this is going to be blasphemous, but it's time to move on. Sean Connery, Roger Moore, Lazenby, everybody else, they had a run. They packed it up. At this point, I don't want to see a rubbery Harrison Ford grumping and curmudgeoning around, pretending that he's having a good time. If I want to see that, I'll watch The Fugitive.
The problem is that it's like you don't even need the CGI for that. He's going to be rubbery either way.
Yeah.
Like, just recast them and let's move on. So you can do whatever it is you want to do with them anyway. Like I said, you had the chance, you blew it. Everybody asked for you to do it. You ignored them and didn't do it anyway. And then we lost lost Fisher, and now we could never ever get it. So it's like, all right, well,
remember that picture that Mark Hamill shared on Twitter before he was crazy about politics? It was a picture that somebody photoshopped together of, like, modern day Luke, Leia, Han, and Lando in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon, and Mark Hamill shared it and said, "Imagine if we had gotten this."
Yep, I was saying, yeah, and then you threw Billy D in as the consolation prize, even though everybody kept going, well, where's Lando for 2 movies? So I don't know. I don't really buy it, but also too, I don't even really care anymore.
Yeah, I kind of agree. It's kind of it's kind of the point where you're just kind of ready to move on. But yeah, I think we're at a point we can recast. I also think what Lauren said, I said this on the pro show also, Harrison Ford has got to be sitting there like, he already hates this. He already hates Star Wars. He tolerated Indiana Jones for a very long time, but after the Dial of Destiny, he's probably not super interested in participating in any of this anymore, because who wants to be in a bad movie? He's probably just done. And
well,
yes,
the counter argument there is that Harrison really does like money. He doesn't need any more, but he'll do a lot for cash. And so there is some weight to the argument that he just wants a little more cabbage. So I'm not prepared to say, because I don't think he cares about Star Wars. I don't think he's worried about it in a narrative sense. But
Plain
I think
fuel ain't cheap.
Yeah. So,
Well, no, I don't think it's that he's worried that, like, the legacy of Han Solo is going to be tarnished. I think it's just he does not want to be bothered with this anymore. He does not want to be bothered with, like, the fan backlash for Dial of Destiny. That had to reach him, and, like, he had to be asked about it in interviews. He had to go do press for it with people fawning over Indiana Jones or fawning over Star Wars. And that famous clip of somebody asking him who shot first, him or Greedo, and his response was, "I don't care." Harrison Ford is not a Star Wars fan. So
It's actually
He's also
a little saltier
82.
than that.
yeah.
You know what?
Oh,
Like,
so
he's also
yeah.
82. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
He's-
Like,
He's earned his epic curmudgeon status.
Oh yeah, 100%. But I mean, look, you've got I forget the gentleman's name who played him in Solo. Martin said it before.
Alden Ehrenreich.
Alden Ehrenreich. Yeah, he was fine as Han Solo. I would watch him as a post Return of the Jedi Han Solo. And look, everyone has fantasy booked Sebastian Stan as Luke Skywalker since the dawn of time. I don't know who at Lucasfilm is so
Not me,
against
Marlon
recasting
Wayans.
Marlon Wayans.
Should have been
Lord-
Robin.
Lauren,
Should
who
have
do
been that Batman.
Should have been Robin, 100%.
What we could have gotten from that Batman.
They actually they're doing that Batman 89 comic book series, and they did a sequel like to the movie, and they brought in Black Marlon Wayans Robin. I thought it was pretty cool. Hey, sorry,
It was
Chris, I need to
good.
cut you
That
off.
was good. I liked that. I thought that was pretty well executed.
Yeah, me
Sorry, I
too.
just had to geek out about that a second.
I think that would have worked out better than Chris Rock, Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, I agree.
Uh,
I will say that
Guys, we interrupted
Sebastian
Trish.
Stan-
What is Trish saying?
I mean, this is as far as I can go with Star Wars, but I do think that Sebastian Stan as a young Luke Skywalker is in the same correct vein as Milo Ventimiglia as Rocky Balboa's son. It just
yeah.
visually is perfect, and you're not going to find someone more perfect. And just, I mean, Milo could act, so it's not like you picked someone based solely on looks and then they couldn't do the job. So I just feel like it would be dumb for them not to pick someone who looks so much like him. You know.
So you know what? I lied. We have one more story that I did want to touch on because it's kind of just like a fun story, like to close out the show with. I think it's not gonna be anything that I think ignites anyone's rage. This is from Bounding into Comics. Batman has finally getting his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and another Guinness World Record. This is by Dante Eriks. So over the last 85 years, the comic book world has introduced countless superheroes, anti-heroes, and galaxy defenders who have captured the imagination of readers with amazing tales of incredible action and uncanny adventures. Through all of this, one mortal who is anything but mere, which I love that. That's a line from World's Finest, where you can't even stop a mere mortal in a Halloween costume. There's nothing mere about that mortal.
Nothing mere about Batman.
Has continued to stand out on the shoulders of gods and resonate with people in a way that goes deeper than the darkest cave. He is vengeance, he is the night, and he has a star, and he is a star. He's Batman since debuting. So we're gonna move to where we actually start talking about the he's breaking records and breaking ground on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The Hollywood Chamber of Commerce will be honoring the world's greatest detective with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on Thursday, December 26th, in the category of motion pictures. The event will take place at 6764 Hollywood Boulevard, right in front of the Hollywood Guinness World Records Museum, where it will be placed next to the stars of co-creator Bob Kane and dearly departed actor who portrayed him in the classic TV series Adam West. Other honorees this year include Batcave alum Maggie Gyllenhaal, Tim Burton, and even Wonder Woman herself, Gal Gadot. The Hollywood Chamber of Commerce is proud to honor our first superhero on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, the one and only Batman. The producer of the only Hollywood Walk of Fame, Anna Martinez. Fans from around the world will be thrilled to know that Batman will have his star dedicated next to the stars of television's Batman, Adam West, and co-creator Batman, Bob Kane. Attending the event will be Hollywood Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Steve Nissen, along with DC's SVP and General Manager Ann DePease. And finally, President, Publisher, Chief Creative Officer, and occasional artist Jim Lee, who will be signing autographs at an all-day collaborating event with Funko at their Hollywood store. Batman will also receive another title from Guinness World Records to stick in his utility belt for being the first superhero to receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So, guys, that's pretty exciting that they're now giving Batman a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I remember a couple of years back, Adam West getting his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame was a big deal because he didn't have it. Comedian Ralph Garman and Seth MacFarlane were pretty instrumental in getting that in making that happen. And Batman is getting his star. That's pretty interesting.
I know a lot of
Wee?
those stars are, like it has to do with like basically getting them bought and stuff like that.
Yep.
But this story just makes me happy. Like it brings a smile to your face. It's like, who gets a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? Batman. And putting him next to Adam West and Kane, like, don't think you can do it any better than that. And
Now,
I know it's gimmicky, but it's fun.
You can.
Go ahead, Lauren.
You stick up a facade of the Monarch Theater right in front of the star, and you make him appear every year to lay a rose down on the star.
You know, I was gonna say that Walk of Fame goes through some pretty seedy neighborhoods too.
Yeah, it's really
Crime
gross.
alley.
Just drop those pearls on that star every year.
Chalk outlines of his parents right next to it.
Oh, if I'm ever there, I'm totally dropping
those are
pearls
from
on it.
yesterday. Now we need to erase the real ones and put the Batman parents ones.
You guys know how there's all the controversies. I won't go too deep on it, but how certain stars sometimes get vandalized. Now I'm picturing someone does like the Joker thing, writes the smile on it and stuff. It's like
the ha ha ha, like he did.
Why so serious?
Yeah.
Your star has fallen, Batman.
Someone write this as a comic, please.
I mean, I don't think we're ever going to see Bill Finger get his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame next to Bob Kane.
I will deface that one. I will. You can take me to the bank, LAPD. Like, watch out for me. If Bill Finger
for a Bill Finger one. Hold on, Lauren, what were you going to say? And then I have to question Spencer about this.
I was wondering, do you guys remember when the Joker went to Hollywood as Joe Care? Acting as a producer? That's how you'd have the intro to that story, is that he goes back specifically to deface the star that he just got.
Thank you, Lord.
All right, so Spencer, what is your problem with Bill Finger of all people?
I had it the opposite way around. I have my problems with Kane, not Finger.
Oh yeah, everyone has a problem with Bob Kane. Bob Kane is.
I always get them mixed up in my head, and so yeah, that's what happened there.
Bob Kane's the meanest old man that ever lived.
Yeah, he stole basically everything from Bill Finger and told him to piss off.
Well, I mean, Kevin, what did Bob Kane's original Batman look like? It was very different, right?
Oh, yeah, very
childhood drawing.
Yeah,
and it had a gun too, right?
Yes,
even some of the Finger stuff still had a gun.
Yeah, early stuff.
He used he used the gun for like 3 or 4 issues. I mean, listen, the first few issues of Batman, he was throwing dudes off of roofs and shooting them. So
I would say those deaths were not his fault. He just happened to be in the vicinity.
My favorite artwork of Batman is from the trade paperback of Batman Year 2 that has him strapped with that gun, and it's the gun that Joe Chill used to kill his parents. He kept it in a safe in the Batcave, and finally he gets to a point where he's dealing with the Reaper, where he thinks he may just have to kill this guy, and he pulls the gun out of the vault because he has to work with Joe Chill to get to him. That's actually part of the story. He's thinking that, he may actually have to kill Joe Chill.
Oh, now I just looked up like the list of characters that Bill Finger created, and so some of these are pretty. It says here Green Lantern, but that's not true, is it?
Original Green Lantern, I think.
Scott,
Alan Scott. Okay, I didn't know that. So All Winners Squad, Ace the Bat Hound, Batmite, Batgirl, Batman, Calendar Man, Catman, Catwoman, Joe Chill, Clayface, Aunt Harriet Cooper, Crime Doctor,
the most important of his creations,
Gilda Dent, Dolby Dickles, Flying Graysons, Jim Gordon, Dick Grayson, Green Lantern, Isbisa, Joker, Batman Jones, Bet Kane, Killer Moth, Kite Man, Knight, Lana Lang, Lori Lamaris, Mad Hatter, Sal Maroni, Professor Milo.
Somebody said the words. The anger is boiling in Marvin now.
I mean, no, Bill Finger is not responsible for Kristen Krug's portrayal of Lana Lang.
That's what I was getting at.
Or was he?
Mirror Man, Lou Moxon, Penguin, Planet Master, Polka Dot Man, Red Hood, Riddler, Robin, Scarecrow, Alan Scott, Signal Man, Squire, Hugo Strange, Tiger Shark, Vicky Vale, Martha Wayne, Thomas Wayne, Wildcat, Zebraman, and Tony Zuko. That is
basically created Batman. Dang.
Now, can you do that to the tune of the Can dance, like Wacko Warner?
I was Ace the Bat-Hand, Batman, Batgirl, Batman, Calendar Man, Catwoman, Catman, Catwoman, Joe Chill, Clayface, Cooper, Crime. Yeah. I was doing a version of the Poke Rap with all of the members of the AEW wrestling roster. So
Good Lord.
It keeps changing though, so I have to either poop or get off the pot on that one. But yeah, so Batman Walk of Fame star, nothing for Bill Finger yet, though I believe Bill Finger's descendants, who never even knew Bill Finger, do get some kind of I remember somebody asked because what's his face, Neil Adams was really instrumental in getting Siegel and Schuster their rights for Superman, and they asked him about Bill Finger, and he said, I helped Siegel and Schuster because Siegel and Schuster stuck up for themselves, and Bill Finger just kind of rolled over and took it.
Ooh,
so
ouch.
he was like, I didn't really ever see any, but you know, the Bill Finger thing. I mean, I never thought in a million years that the Bill Finger thing was going to work, and it worked. So DC caved on that one.
Can I tell you, to someone who doesn't totally know what that means, the Bill Finger thing sounds off. Just saying.
So Trish, what happened was it came out that Bob Kane is the creator of Batman. And it turned out that he actually did not create Batman. Batman was created by a writer named Bill Finger, and Bob Kane signed his name to the work.
Okay. I mean, I got that, but the Bill Finger thing just sounded...
No, I understand, but I figured some of the people watching might not have.
It's a complex technique.
I still didn't realize I technically knew what it was because you guys were just talking about it. So I actually did know from listening to you 2 seconds ago. Actually did learn what it was.
Yep. So. All right, guys. So we're about done tonight, unless anybody's got anything else. Lorne Connor, I recently received word that we have chosen a movie for my next appearance on the Genre Guys. I don't know. Are we allowed to say it, or do we have to hold that back?
No, I think we can announce it. I don't think that's going to be a problem.
All right. Yeah, Lou reached out to me the other day and said that Lou, Lorne, and I on the Genre Guys will be doing Rocky 1.
Nice.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this movie because I have so many thoughts. So that'll be on an upcoming episode of the Genre Guys that we're gonna have to do. I think we're recording it sometime in October, so it'll be up. That is on Pro's channel for his members only content, and then eventually, after 90 days or so, it goes to T3PO.
Yeah, something like that. We're 2 or 3 months behind.
Yeah. All right. So, Lorne, why don't you tell the people where they can find more about you and what you're up to?
Primarily at Lorne Connor on X and Lorne Connor 9030 on YouTube. You can find me on WDW Pro's channel quite often. I used to write for That Park Place and occasionally still slip an article in there. So, and then of course I've been showing up on your show quite frequently. So there's all kinds of ways to find me.
You're part of the Titans, Lorne. We've dubbed you Kid Flash. So
we did.
You have the honors.
We're the we said if we're the Titans, I'm Robin. Kevin's obviously Cyborg. Nolan's Beast Boy. Trish is Raven.
Like
Martin is Red Arrow. You're Kid Flash, and Spencer's Starfire.
I am the hot one.
Well,
I have the hot one.
I'm gonna look at you in a whole new light now, Spencer.
Hey, you gotta buy me dinner first.
No, Lorne, I always love your appearances on Pro's channel. And you were on the Agatha after party last night with us, and we had a fantastic discussion. So really, really great. Martin, where can people find out more about what you're up to?
Well, you can find me on That Park Place members stream. We do the Lost Guys. We've talked about a couple things we've done here in the stream tonight, but we're getting back into it, and we're going to have some Mario themed stuff.
Ooh,
even Mario has things that have fallen by the wayside.
Who picked that episode?
Are you
That's
watch
weird.
Mario Golf.
The original Mario anime, where he plays video games, and it's if I can find, I'll send it to you if I can find it.
Kevin,
I already have it.
I love it.
Kevin,
you
might have made a really good prediction right there.
Oh.
Very nice. Nolan, where can folks find out more about everything you've got going on?
Well, like Martin said, I'm on the Lost Guys. I'd like to hear some more about that. I'm actually been working on a secret project right now that will probably get announced here in probably a good 2 weeks or so. I've been working with some people in the Sphere trying to get that recorded. So there's going to be a big announcement coming here soon. I hope to bring some more information onto it one of the next times I'm on the stream here.
I have
But
heard from somebody that recently recorded with you, somebody that is another Tooneytown veteran on another channel who is very, very excited about it.
yes, so I would say be on the lookout for that. I have a good announcement coming. There's going to be some really awesome people I'm going to be working with on it. So if you like
Fantastic.
that, in the meantime, you can find me on Nolan Thunder. I talk about video game mysteries, and it's a fun time. I'm also over on That Game Place with Marvin, Spencer, like all the cool people. And yes, of course. I never forget Starfire.
You were never gonna let me live
Nope.
that down.
I'm not. That yeah, exactly. That was a swing at Marvin Nolan.
It's because I used to jumble you and Nolan's names up because I always thought Nolan looked like a Spencer. So I used to always want to call Nolan Spencer.
Now I feel like I'm Spencer.
You know what? I don't disagree with that. I 100% actually agree with that.
All right, Spencer.
I feel like
what have you
Spencer-
got going on, including That Game Place?
Yeah, obviously you can catch me Thursday morning, afternoons, depending on which time zone you're in, over at That Game Place. You can check out battingintocomics.com every day for new news stories. You can check out me on my own channel over at Studio Kabuto. And you can always find me here on Tooneytown TV with some of the greatest Titans around. And we will see you on the morrow day next. I don't know. I'll get my Starfire speech down. Don't worry.
Oh my goodness.
I'm
Trish,
having the troubles.
We will
Trish,
partake in the booyah.
Trish, we have got to get
You can't say that. That's racist, Nolan.
I'm
Did
trying
you
to
hear
outro Trish,
Ray
guys.
Fisher?
It's all right. It's okay.
Yeah, no, we don't talk about Cryborg on this show. Trish, well, we got to get some members only content up featuring us in the near future. I am ready to start watching Supernatural.
You know I'm good.
All
You
right.
know, you just like light the flare, and you know
The beacons are lit. Kevin Apollo, I believe we got a rant coming up soon, right, for members?
Yeah, I'll work on it.
And then this coming Tuesday, we are going to be having a special episode of Tooney Talk Wrestling where we're going to be celebrating 5,000 subscribers over there. So very, very exciting over there.
The more you keep posting that show and the more you keep watching, the more I hope to learn wrestling.
Do you actually watch it?
Oh yeah, I'm not saying anything because I don't have anything to say, but I'm there.
I love that, Spencer. I love you, man.
I'm learning on that one. I don't have anything to say about wrestling. My wrestling knowledge ends at my favorite wrestler is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
It is. That's my favorite too. You're such a better friend than Trish.
Ooh, shots fired.
I'm kidding. I know, Trish. You haven't.
What that means?
I know, because I was saying that you don't watch Tooneytown Wrestling because you don't watch wrestling anymore, and it's okay.
No, I
Trish.
don't. I wouldn't know what you're talking about. Spencer is tougher than I am. I'd just be sitting there like, what?
Trish, you were literally just the person in my direct line of sight when I
know. I'm the punching bag. I'm the girl. I'm the punching bag.
You are. You are a treasured, wonderful part of this show. And a wonderful friend. Kevin Apollo, what shows you got coming up?
Let's see. October 25th, Haverstraw Community Center. Fight or Fright 2. It's a Halloween themed show. Kids, if they come in a Halloween costume, I'll give you a discounted ticket, and then we'll do a fun Halloween costume contest, and I'll give them some fun little prizes. And then November 2nd, we'll be at the Palisades Mall for November Rain.
I love that title.
Awesome.
But the other rain, not the it's raining rain,
right.
Like the Reign of Kings, because it sounds cool. And I got a Christmas show coming. I just haven't set the date yet. That will be Santa Slam.
Santa Slam. I like that one.
I love alliteration.
That is probably the only like Christmas show like name on the indies that I've never heard before, because every other one I've heard 1,000 times.
Reindeer ruckus.
Yeah. Christmas Chaos is a big one. Jingle Brawl or Jingle Bam or something like that. Like, it's just so much. Like, all right, folks. And for me, just we would love to have you guys become part of the Tooneytown community. We have got 3 huge, wonderful fantastic levels for you guys to join as members. We have our $1.99 Tooneytown tenant, the Tooneytown resident for $5 a month, Tooneytown Council for $20 a month, and Tooneytown Council gets to actually appear on members-only streams with me as part of the panel. We have got a members-only stream for residents and town council members tomorrow at 2 p.m., so make sure you're here for that. We, it's a much more interactive stream, so we would love to have you guys there. All right, well, that about does it for this episode of Tooney Talk TV. Thank you guys so much for being here. As for all of us here at the Tooneytown channels, I'm Marvin the Movie Monster. Now get out of here!
Now, Betty the Platypus, feel the wrath of my thank you-inator!
Thank you, you piece of trash.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you!
Oh, I suppose you want me to say thank you. Well, you know what? Saying thank you is like jobbing. Thank you!
I got a little message. Thank you. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, thank you! Oh, thank you! Thank you! Thank you! Thank you! Thank you!
Thanks. For what?
Hi-ho from all of us here at Tooneytown. Thank you!
And viewers like you. Thank you.